to accept why we can't change the story of our lives. We read between the lines.
Tinsley sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Barr FTF Cup Series.
Into the lead. Bud gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes McCandless. Get your foot there.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
McCandless is in. FTF.gg welcomes you to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama. The Barr FTF Cup Series welcomes you to the... Oh, where's the logo? For crying out loud, don't they post this in the... There it is, the slipstream signs. The track is blocked. Oh God, oh no, 500K. Here from Talladega. I think you can understand why I didn't necessarily have that in front of me to roll off the tongue. Nonetheless, Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman with you, Zach Johnson producing. Similar to how we did things at Atlanta, we're doing duels to set the field. We whittled the field down 84 guys at a time. We only took 60, the top 50 on speed, 10 provisionals, and they just requalified to set us up for the duel. So let's run through our starting grid. Kevin McAdams is on pole. Matthew Zwack to the outside. Alex Kalnix and Hamilton Akabuze are in row number 2. Spencer Ray, Jonathan Ushelm in row number 3. Jack Painter, Seth Noel in row 4. Parker White and Derek Justice rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and then looking back on to 11th, Dylan Basin will be starting alongside Nate Stewart, Brandon Hawken with Femi Olet, Malik Ray and Daniel Budafuco, Michael P. Frisch, and Andrew Cootie. And then rounding out row 10, going to be Jackson Carr and Joseph Armstrong.
Final 10 cars: Mercurio, Plessel, Helton, Stoltz, Drake, Reimer, Guest, McCandless, Yoneshu, Beckner. Trouble for McCandless, though. He is not on the racetrack. He just connected to the session. He was having trouble getting in, and that's why he will not take the green flag. Hopefully he can get in, and there will be an early caution for him to get rolling. 20 laps for these duels. The top 16 advance to the race. Stage points go to the top 10 finishers in each duel. And then we take a couple more based off of speed. Zach, we can pull the graphic up now, I think, and show how things are supposed to go. The graffitied flowchart from Atlanta, repurposed for Talladega. Yeah, here you go. So this race is on Sunday night, as the graphic suggests. Top 50 from qualifying. Top 8 left in owner points. And then your sponsor provos, Malillo and Dorman. Malillo made it in on speed, at least through that first round. So the duels, again, top 16 advance. This sets the inside row. The second duel sets the outside row. The consolation race isn't necessarily a race. It'll just be your top 4 remaining on qualifying speed. And then the 2 provisionals, sponsor provisionals, if they do not make it. Here we go. By the way, this will be the first of many tonight. Don't forget where that start-finish line is. Not in the middle of the trial. It's off close to turn 1. Kevin McAdams, and that's not Matthew Zwack. It's Hamilton Akabuze on the front row. Green flag, we are racing. Duel 1 at Talladega. Side by side to the start-finish line. Lap number 1 goes to Derek Justice from 10th to 1st in 1 lap. Femi Olat behind him there on the outside. A couple of Coke Series drivers around the top. The FTF regulars, McAdams, Kolonix, Spencer Ray down on the inside.
Yeah, and if you remember back to the Barr Visuals FTF 500 just a few months ago at Daytona, we were seeing primarily, double file racing, but with how much wider this track surface is at Talladega, you could see on the first lap there was nobody scared to go 3 wide. Even saw little peaks for 4. So right now they've grouped back up primarily into 2 lanes, and you see Derek Justice getting just swarmed through the middle there after he dropped down, but trying to get with Malik Ray there, big bump from him. But already not scared to go 3 and even 4 wide with the expanded track surface.
And how that worked, pretty simple. Bad bump from Olat to Justice. Got him a little sideways. He dropped to the bottom to save the car, just naturally steer into it. And then he couldn't get back up to the outside in front of that 96 Monster Toyota. So he drops near the back of the field. Remember, your top 16 advance right now, the 16th spot belongs to Malik Ray, who was at Martinsville earlier today. Through 3 and 4, it's McAdams out in front, your top 5 breakaway. Now Parker White jumps up to the outside line. He has 2 wins on the season. And he'll try and lead the outside line, and they'll make a charge toward the front.
And I'd say Derek Justice's race right now is a pretty good indicator of what Talladega is like. You mentioned that he went from 10th to 1st on the first lap, and here on lap 4, he's already sunk all the way back down to almost the outside of the top 20, sitting P18 right now, just because of having no drafting help. Again, everybody is really, you're either on the very top of the racetrack right now, where you can keep that speed and that momentum all the way up where all the energy is in the pack, or you can go the shortest way around the racetrack. And that middle lane right now is no man's land.
Here comes Dylan Basin now leading the charge up on the outside. Your winner from Texas a couple of weeks ago. He's got Parker right behind. Meanwhile, McAdams remains out in front. Kolonix Ray on the inside line, as well as Jack Painter up inside the top 5. A little 4 wide further back. Guess who? It's Guest and Malik Ray that have teamed up in that tandem, charging their way to the front using the middle line.
And Derek Justice, another big move there. He was 4 wide with Nate Stewart, Jackson Carr, and Logan Helton, as Logan Helton was plummeting through the middle lane there. And again, here at Talladega, you were afforded the room to do that, as I believe Parker White just scraped the wall, got the outside stacked up just a little bit. But looks like they'll be okay for time being.
Oh, Daniel Botafuco shoved it in there on Dylan Basin. Basin jumps to the outside line, stacks up Parker White. Not enough room there, and Botafuco
Cootie
said, too bad, I'm coming through. Cootie goes up to block, and now to the middle line. Buttafuoco's going to get shuffled back 4 wide. Ray and Guest get split apart. And now they're 3 wide from third on back. Justice in the middle. Malik up top. Spencer Ray down low.
And you can just see how aggressive they're already being here on lap 6 of Heat 1. And these guys want to get to the front big time. Kevin McAdams, big block on Derek Justice. That's going to hold him and Noel up big time. Kolinick's on the inside with no drafting help now. Here comes Spencer Ray behind him. But all of a sudden, the energy on this inside line has just completely dissipated. And this outside line is the place to be, but maybe not for long. Here comes Andrew Cootie.
Can he get any drafting help on the bottom of the racetrack? Here comes McAdams with a bit of a run to the back bumper. Wham! Crash! Behind! Can they save it? 1 car around to the outside wall. It's Jackson Carr. And the caution flag is out for the first time in duel number 1. 4 wide with Daniel Buttafuoco. He has been in the thick of it all so far. And it's contact here into the tri-oval that brings out the first caution flag of the night.
And you'll see it right here. It's going to be that white car, Spencer, or the black front car right there of Spencer Ray. Just comes up on Daniel Buttafuoco and forces that contact when they're already 4 wide with Frisch on the outside. They honestly do a really good job of not collecting anybody else. The Jackson car makes minimal contact with the outside wall. You'll see it once again right here. Watch that black car with the red roof number.
Just comes up, and it's calamity.
Well, yeah, again, you have the room to go 4 wide, but may not know you are 4 in that particular moment, so just less room to deal with right there. But either way, it puts us under our first caution of the day.
Malik Ray is your leader. They got to wait for the pace car here. That's why everybody is slowing on the apron off turn number 4. Your choose cone this evening. Yes, we have one. It's coming off turn number 2. It's that blend line cone that we often use. Stop and go for Spencer Ray for wreck score once we get the green flag. And Malik Ray makes an interesting call here, and we'll bring it to the pit lane. Even though he was the race leader, he's joined by some folks in the back. But fuel not a concern at any stretch. I almost wonder if Malik is just taking tires so he can kind of find some more entertainment by dicing his way through the field.
You'll see right now everybody here on pit road. Looks like first car out going to be Malik Ray. Interesting call to pit here, I think, from Malik Ray and everybody else who was up here at the front. Got a 75% fuel limit in the tanks, and, you know, Talladega tires don't matter all that much, so.
Well, I disagree on that, and here's why. Just because, and, you know, it may not necessarily be the case in these cars, but in most, tires are beneficial solely because then you can make more aggressive moves. You have the grip to slide all over the racetrack and not worry about the car stepping out on you. If you're on worn tires, you're not going to have as much grip, and you're going to find yourself in trouble, and perhaps the folks around you in trouble. So Malik Ray, first one off pit road, he was your leader, and he is 23rd. His buddy Michael Guest, P8. Andrew Cootie, though, is your leader. Again, your top 16 move on, so you just have to finish really in the top half, and you're okay. Otherwise, you have to fall back on your qualifying speed, and that could be an issue for some folks that are back there that maybe just squeaked in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, you know, with new tires, you know, you have extra grip to make some of those aggressive moves. And obviously with Malik Ray, you know, he's one of the most aggressive plate racers out there, and it's what makes him so good at it. But I don't know. You only have, 8 laps of wear on these tires right now, and you got 12 to go. I think you put yourself in a worse position by being back here, where the chance of a wreck happening is exponentially higher with the amount of cars that are around you compared to being in the lead, which I know you might be making some big blocks, stuff like that, but we'll see how it plays out for him. It looks like out of these guys at pit, Malik Ray, Nate Stewart, Daniel Buttafuoco among those, all who did, and obviously Buttafuoco, Jackson Carr, another guy that pitted, were involved in that first incident.
So we will choose here this time, coming off turn number 2, as Basin blinks. Very cool.
And
here we go.
The first plate race, I believe, here in the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series with the choose rule enabled.
Technically, yes. I mean, they did it at Atlanta. They didn't do it for the 500, but they did do it at Atlanta. But this is the first time they're doing it at Talladega. How about that?
Would we officially classify Atlanta as a plate track? If you want to be technical, we're a plate track everywhere these days.
Right. It's a... I don't know what the hell it is. Bad racetrack, that's what it is. It used to be good, now it's not. Kind of like Martinsville. All right, Andrew Cootie, your race leader. Basin choosing the outside line for the restart. And so Philip McCandless got all but 2 of his laps back there after he got in late. But he is out there now, and Matthew Zwack, who missed the start, he fell out of the server right at the green flag. I thought he was with the field. Then we came to the green flag, and he wasn't there. Had some connection issues, so he is back out there. He got his laps back. He sits in the 22nd position, so he will have a chance to race his way in. Not necessarily somebody that could rely back on speed from that first session. Zwack is P11 in points. Coming in to the race field, headed back to the restart zone. We'll get a restart with 11 laps to go in duel number 1, green flag.
Now you can see Cootie got further out front, has Justice coming, but this outside lane stuck together. And I think you'll see through turns 1 and 2, they should have a little bit of a run with how well they stuck together on that restart.
Saw Michael Guest peek out of line, had some help from Noel, but he tucks right back in line to that middle side. Femi Olot peeks out that orange car, 3 wide on the outside to get by Kolonix. Here comes Basin toward the front of the pack with the help from Kevin McAdams. Andrew Cootie leading the low line, and bye-bye Logan Helton. No, he drops in line in front of the Dr. Bob machine of Brian Mercurio. 2 wide once again. We saw this at the start of the race. We see it again now. Cootie trying to lead around as we come to halfway.
Justice peeking out there, trying to make moves around Cootie. Coming to 10 laps to go, and now Justice is going to go to that middle lane with help.
Parker White, and boy, Cootie was dangerous there with blocking Justice.
Big.
Saved it.
Yeah.
A little off the pace, but he holds on. You see him there once again with Jackson Carr. And going into turn number 1, he had to really check up. He was not ready for it. Now trouble. Cootie from the front, cautions out. To the inside wall goes the 5. And he did get a piece of that inside wall. Turned off the bumper of Logan Helton down the back straightaway. Single car crash. And that Pepsi can exploded on poor Andrew Cootie down the back stretch.
Had to find a way to force that one, huh?
Yep. We're going to look at the replay. Hard hit to the inside there from Cootie. And here it is. He's got Logan Helton behind him on the inside line. He gets on the right rear. That upsets him right there, and it hooks him up the racetrack. And around goes car number 5.
And that wreck is going to be called on the 63 of Logan Helton. And again, this is just bumpers getting misaligned. And you have a push like this with this much momentum. If you're not perfectly square with that bumper, or at least in the realm of it, then this is going to be the result here. You're just going to hook him. And it does make contact with that inside wall.
I believe we are not shortening the caution. So that way Philip McCandless can get back on the lead lap. Andrew Cootie, 8 minutes of required for hitting the wall. That toe link snapped. Oh, and trouble for Dylan Basin. He just fell out of the server. Basin was up at the front, and now he is gone. McCandless now is 1 lap down. So when he comes around, he'll pass the leader one more time, and he will be back on the lead lap. But now Basin is going to be out. Basin will have to fall back on qualifying time. But Caleb, remember, it's not the qualifying for the duels he has to fall back on. It's the cue sheet he has to fall back on. Basin qualified, not great. A 53.275. For comparison, the pole by Tyler Gary was a 53.119. In fact, Basin missed the top 50 on speed. He got in based off of owner points. So Dylan Basin is not in a position to fall back on getting in on speed, depending on who else misses.
That'll be something to watch for sure. Dylan Basin came in here with a lot of speed. We've seen him blinking throughout this race, so obviously with some internet troubles there. Hope he can get that sorted back out and get back in the server. But as of right now, he is sitting P30th, which is last. And again, like you said, doesn't have the greatest qualifying time to fall back on here on the Q sheet. Either way, he's got just under 10 to go to get that figured out.
And Bill Basin says, rip my internet. So it sounds like he may be in trouble for the night. He may not get a chance to race, even if he were to make it, based off of his lap time. So next time by, we should get the one to go. Now for Cootie, the only good news for Cootie here, obviously no fast repairs. So he's pretty much stuck right now. 8 minutes required, so he's going to fall multiple laps down. Cootie was 15th on speed, so he has the potential to transfer in on speed. A 53.212. He was tied for 13th with McAdams, Chris Overland, and himself. The times were so close. First to 50th was within less than a half tenth of a second. A 119 for Gary. Liam Sheen, 50th in speed, a 238. So a very small window for somebody to make a mistake and to bobble.
And again, still lots that we got to monitor here. Once we get this restart coming to the choose cone. And I wonder if we see Derek Justice last time started on the inside lane, but now that he is out front, if he goes to the inside or where he lines up here.
We will double them up here off turn 2 as the lights are out on the pace car. And we'll see which line Derek Justice chooses. He goes outside. McAdams goes inside. Now, Justice will have some eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers behind him. Parker White and Michael Guest will be right behind. We'll see if anybody hits the cone back there. And I think actually somebody spun it. Yeah, somebody spun. Who is that? That's Jack Painter. That tried to break some ankles and instead broke his own, and he hit the inside wall. Not at a high speed, but he hit it with the left front corner. Jack Painter says he's good, but a goof there. from the driver of the 097. So 28 drivers on the racetrack. They're all in the lead lap. Cootie in the garage on pit road getting the car worked on. He's still got about 3 more minutes to fix. 3 more minutes of damage to fix. There we go. And Dylan Bason's trying to get back in. The internet gremlins continuing to plague him. He said his power flickered, and the router is probably booting back up. So here we go, ready for the restart. Derek Justice on the outside, Kevin McAdams on the inside. We'll get the restart with 6 laps to go in duel number 1 from Talladega. And the slipstream signs, the track is blocked. Oh God, oh no, 500K. And Caleb, we have not, thankfully, blocked the racetrack yet. Green flag, 6 to go.
Great job here on this restart between Derek Justice and Parker White. Just fantastic communication to be lined up on each other's bumpers. You can see not only did they get that jump, here comes McAdams and Kolonix back down on the inside though, and they're just about equal with Derek Justice and Parker White right now.
Down the back stretch, you saw that white and blue car drop to the bottom. That's the 90 of Malachi Drake on the inside line, trying to charge his way toward the front. Right now, he is in a pretty good spot as far as trying to make the main event. 76 laps yet in that main event. He looks to the inside here of Kolonix. He has no help down there. Here comes Mercurio up the middle with help from Frisch. Justice will lead at the line. 5 to go in duel number 1.
Mercurio was just shot out of a cannon there out of turn number 4 with help from Frisch. He's got Zwack and Josh Stoltz behind him as well. And this group now is looking to challenge for the lead here with 5 to go down the Talladega Super
Oh,
stretch.
Nate Stewart gets turned in the back of the pack. Around single car. Also got a piece of Logan Helton. No caution for it. It was Nate Stewart. It was a bad bump from Logan Helton. Turned the car sideways. He ping-ponged off of Helton and the wall. He stays rolling, but way off the pace. Coming to 4 laps to go. We stay under green.
Back up at the front, Mercurio, Frisch, Zwack, and Josh Stoltz. But here comes Malik Ray with help from Joseph Armstrong in the number 20 Yahoo machine. He's got help. Derek Justice behind him. Phil McCandless, after battling internet issues, is all up in this pack as well on the inside lane here with 4 laps to go.
Speaking to the outside, no help. That's Stoltz. Here comes Ray. Remember, he pitted under the first caution flag. He's up there now with help from the 20 of... Oh, gosh, who are you? Is that Oshalim? Yes, it is. He drops down to the bottom. No, it's not Oshalim. Joseph Armstrong. Go figure. I'm like, I've seen him before. There we go. The 020. Mercurio out in front.
I know who you are.
3 laps to go.
And now Ray and Justice are hooked up together on the outside, but do they have enough of a run to challenge with Brian Mercurio, Michael P. Frisch, and everybody else on this inside lane now? On the outside, just kind of by themselves, Parker White and Michael Guest are behind them, but will they stick together here on this outside lane? Coming at 3 laps to go. Big push from the 011 machine to Derek Justice. And that's going to shoot Malik Ray and Derek Justice out in front of the field right now. Brian Mercurio and Michael P. Frisch have to regroup here on the bottom and just bide their time. But right now, it is Malik Ray, Derek Justice in control of this race. Here comes Justice to the inside of Malik Ray.
One Frisch came over the radio and told Mercurio, car's getting hot. Can't keep pushing you like that. Here comes White to the inside, joining Justice. Malik Ray brings that outside line down, trying to side draft. White, I think, got it at the line. Yes, just barely. 2 laps to go, and duel number 1, the gap 2 1/1000ths at the stripe.
And all of a sudden, Malik Ray and Michael Guest, you know, at Plate Tracks this year, they have been a force together. And all of a sudden here, with 2 laps to go, they're hooked up together on the outside. It's Parker White, Derek Justice on the inside, Seth Noel with help behind Guest and Ray. Here comes Matthew Zwack all up in it as well. Brian Mercurio's back here, Michael P. Frisch. Now Malik Ray, as the leader, is going to leave Michael Guest and drop down to the inside lane. He's going to come up off turn 4, back in front of the white number 9 machine. But here comes Parker White. He's side by side for the lead as they come to the white flag.
Coming to the white flag in the wall, the outside line, Spencer Ray, Kolonix, they keep it green. Remember, that 16th position is the transfer spot to move on to the main event. We're on the last lap here from Talladega. Malik Ray is out in front, Parker White on the bottom, Michael Guest giving the help. It's a free-for-all from 5th on back. Here comes Buttafuoco with the run. He pushes Femi Olot down the back straightaway. Ray and Guest continue to scoot along. Here they come to turn 3. Olot to the inside. Can he get help from Mercurio? Here comes Seth Noel in the 1. He has help from Parker White. They continue to beat and bang further in the back. They're 4 wide around the transfer spot. Kolonix up on the way outside. Here they come to the finish line. Now they're 4 wide with Hawken and Frisch. Seth Knoll, here comes White. It'll be a drag race for the duel. Give it to Parker White. He will win. They crash for the transfer spot. And at the line, the last guy in, Jackson Carr. He crashed in the opening few laps. And he is the last guy in.
Oh, catch your breath there, Jacob. My lord. Jackson Carr getting that transfer spot. Some big names missed out. Cosmin Ionescu, Lucas Plessel, Hamilton Akpobuise all on the outside. Matthew Zwack, who was, up inside the top 5 earlier, missed out there. So that'll shake up our grid.
And looking at speed, Cosmin qualified 21st. It was really a tie for 19th. With a 2:17. Akpobuise qualified 8th, tied for 7th. Akpobuise should be in theory. Plessel. There he is. He qualified 27th. Zwack. He qualified 44th, so I think Zwack might be toast. Beckner, where are you? Beckner, I am blind. Beckner, he qualified 38th. So, we'll see how some of these guys work out. Armstrong qualified 10th, so I would think Akpobuise and Armstrong are 2 solid contenders to make it from speed, and Nate Stewart was just 1,000th off of Armstrong, so Stewart might get in, even though he was involved in some contact with 2 to go.
Either way,
nonetheless, field's rolling, and this is duel 2. Here's your grid. Liam Brotherton is on pole. Now, Brotherton, he did not make a start after Daytona. He has skipped the rest of the year, and here he is now as pretty much a plate track ringer. So he's on pole. Blake Reynolds, who's inside the top 10 in points, he is there in second. It's Oates, Marin, Conrath Miller, Poulin, Tyler Gary. He's making his debut of the season tonight. That's why he doesn't have a number or a color. Now Rocky and Kevin King rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, starting 11th here tonight, Chris Wetz. Alongside him is AJ Green. Wyatt Tinsley in the 13th position with Matt Spalding. David L. Brown starting from the 15th position. Jonathan Goke in 16th. Daniel Falkingham in 17th. Michael Cozy Jr. the outside of road number 9. And rounding out your top 20 going to be Jordan Worth starting 19th and Justin Malillo starting in 20th.
And by mistake, Gary did run at Rockingham, which was one of the races that I was not here for. So, but that just means that I can't make any more excuses for Zach then. I thought that he didn't make a race, and that's why I didn't have a number. Nope. There you have it. Butler, Cattell, Cortez, Dorman, Landon Hudson, Sheen, Smith, Overland, Roten round out the top 30. Everybody is actually here for this race. And that means that, we will take 16 and maybe more depending on qualifying speed. Green flag, duel 2, 20 more laps. Let's say if we can get a Jordan Worth paint scheme check down the back straightaway. Oh my, the mowers are gone. Wow.
Yeah, what is this with Jordan Worth? I was surprised that he wasn't done in his typical green, but
Nato Chris Davis, presumably.
we got some
He says it's him.
submarines, some boats on the back.
Blake Reynolds leads lap 1.
Yeah, we've been way
Marin
too
there on the
focused on
outside.
Jordan Worth's paint scheme there.
Yep. Sebastian Marin, one of the rookies in this series that has really impressed so far. He impressed just with his qualifying time back at Daytona when he qualified inside the top 10. Unfortunately for him, he did not make it out of the duels there and wound out missing out on racing in the Barr FTF 500. Incident further in the back, though. Look out. Couple of cars off the pace. Among them, Nick Roten, Jonathan Goke. And they weren't the guys involved. It was actually Falkingham that got tagged in the back of the field, and he did a slide, but he was able to hold on to the race car. We keep it green, but with Marin, as I mentioned, one of the guys that really impressed back at Speed Weeks. He currently sits 26th in points. He has one top 10 finish and a pole this year. 9th at Texas being his best start. He missed last week at Bristol Dirt.
Looking on this outside lane, this is very typical with what falls in line and with what we saw in duel number 1. Kind of just a dead heat between this outside and inside right now. You're not seeing much of a middle line here tonight. You're either all the way on the bottom or all the way up against the wall here.
Lots of crashing into the wall. Nick Miller. I was going to say lots of shuffling around, and that's because Nick Miller's in the wall with AJ Green. A lot of damage to the right front corner of Miller. He was inside the top 10. So was Green, and it was pushing the pusher up on the outside of the racetrack, it looks like, to bring out the first caution flag of duel number 2.
Yeah, your sentence still worked out there, so not the worst timing, but we'll take a look at what happened here to put us under our first caution of duel number 2, and you can see it's, again, just a bad bump there with Nick Miller. Gets him turned into the outside wall. Bends along there for a minute, he and AJ Green.
Another angle. This is on board with AJ Green.
And watch it here. It's going to be a slight bump there, and then just gets stacked up and gets that 19 out of control just a little bit, and that extra nudge is what sends him fully over the edge and
he
turns him into the
hit him in the right
wall.
rear. Hit him in the right rear. That's why he got in trouble, and why it hooked him into the fence.
Again, early on here in the heat, we are under our first caution for not a single car spin, but a relatively small accident compared to what you might expect here from Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, relatively small crashes, except for the crash coming to the line, which I think is just, like, expected when you come to the plate track. About maybe a dozen cars on pit road, maybe a little less than that, closer to 10. As we'll get a restart with probably about 14 to go in duel number 2, not stage.
Yeah, it feels that way, huh?
Right. Well, there's a reason there are only 2 stages for the main event. Only 76 laps, and at lap 35, that's the end of the stage.
Total here, I mean, we have a good portion of racing tonight between both of our heats, which are 40 laps, and then again, you said the 76 lap main event. You know, it puts us at about 116 laps, if my head math is correct. Yeah, probably shouldn't take me that much energy, but I'm just saying 116 laps at Talladega, it's a pretty good night.
Sorry, I was checking the math more than anything, because at first that number didn't sound right, but
well, there are lots of people I trust with math, and you are not one of them. But myself, I'm not one of them either. So,
yeah, there you go.
Zach, can we get a math check?
That sounds right.
All right, Zach has declined the math check. Just something I noticed under that green flag run. Tyler Gary's roof number is upside down, and it's hard to spot.
Did you install it?
No, absolutely not. I would not put it upside down. I would
You would
misplace
forget
it maybe. yeah. Maybe, you know, we might roll up with it not on the car, but we definitely wouldn't put it upside down. And that's what Tyler Gary has managed to do here with that number 8. Again, it's hard to spot because I don't even know how you would say that. It's the same upside down and right side up, but.
If he put it on the right way, I think Teresa Earnhardt may have sued. So I think that's I think that's why he put it upside down.
It's the right way on the side.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I because it's the next gen, I think the sides being screwed up enough are okay. But I think on the roof, the roofs are pretty much the same. So flip the number, make it look a little different, and that's all that matters.
You got a car here, and then, yeah, like you said, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Getting some early looks at what we're going to decide at the choose cone here.
Everybody to the apron. Yeah. Let's see. Inside. Tyler Gary goes to the outside for this restart. So that'll put Gary pretty much in the driver's seat here. He's going to have, let's see, that's Blake Reynolds to the outside behind him in the 66. He was part of a group that ran the Road America 500 over the weekend, which is exactly what it sounds like, 500 miles at Road America. It's a decision to make, but
yeah, I'm glad
Reynolds was a part of that.
500 miles at Road America, good Lord.
124 laps.
No, thank you. Sounds like 500 miles at Bristol.
Yeah, the split he was in, I was watching it a little bit. It's two classes. You've got Nissans, which are faster, the Audis, which are slower. The Audis had a colossal crash coming out of the final corner on the second lap of the race. Cars went flying upside down over the pit wall, over the other pit wall. Multiple cars crashed into the tire barrier, the pit attenuator at the entrance to pit road. It was ugly.
Yeah, if you saw the glitch that happened at Martinsville as well, that was floating around Twitter, that was a pretty bad one too.
Brotherton, Gary, green flag with 14 to go in duel number 2. Oh, in the wall! Trouble! Overland around. Multiple cars. Aaron Smith, Nick Miller again, Cattell, David L. Brown. And it's all on Overland in the back of the field. A stack up on the outside line where, man, oh man, watch Cattell. It starts with the 80, that green and white car. And Wyatt Tinsley, who's just in front. Watch them here going down into 1. And I have no idea. It's netcode that sends Overland back down the racetrack, but the contact before it, I can't tell how Cattell got kicked up there. If Overland just pushed him up, or if it was a bad bump maybe while trying to turn the wheel to get to the outside of Tinsley so he didn't run him over with that onboard. What in the world? Overland doesn't even know what happened, and he was in the wreck.
That's weird for sure. I can't say that I've seen that on this platform, at least. Maybe a few others.
What do you mean?
You know, just NASCAR heat things.
Wow. So Tyler Gary's your leader. This caution will be shortened. Let's see.
Yeah, now we're one lap to green.
Yeah. Nick Miller. If we can get a look at that crash again, Zach, and maybe get it on board with Nick Miller. He is the last car in the pack, and a good 3 car lengths behind Falkingham, who's in front of him. Here he is. As they go down to turn number 1. You can already see the gap that's here. Going down into 1. Okay, they're wrecking. Now, normally you want to get on the brakes and pow into Cattell. Now, Miller says that his brake bias is at 44%. That's why he couldn't stop. And I think some folks thought that Miller should have gotten a secondary for piling it in there. But nonetheless, they think he's okay. We have chosen, and we'll get a restart with 11 to go in the what is this called? The duel. Good Lord. I'll get it right eventually. More likely after this is done.
Yeah, disclaimer, this is not a stage. Its own duel.
But now your top 10 do get stage points.
It's true.
So in a sense, it is a stage, but it's also an elimination race where we cut the back half of the field.
if we're going by that logic, then the duels in the Cup Series are technically stages for the 500.
Right, except nobody cares about them. Because only 39 cars show up anyway.
Yeah, you got me there. We'll send home a random back marker.
Yeah, poor Carl Long.
What are we gonna do without DJ Kennington in the 500?
Oh no. Well, I guess we won't be international then, huh? Tyler Gary, Liam Brotherton on the front row for the restart. As I mentioned, 11 to go in Duel 2. I almost did it again. Green flag.
Gary once again going to get separated here from Blake Reynolds, and he did this last restart. He's going to stack this entire line up, and you can see Michael Cozy Jr. making a little bit of evasive maneuvers there with Tyler Landon and Justin Malillo all opting to go with him instead of potentially falling victim to what happened last restart. But either way, this outside lane is gone compared to the inside lane. Liam Brotherton just cannot get going with Jonathan Oates all over the back bumper of that race car. Here comes Cozy through the middle.
Restart is under review. Here they come to turn 3. Gary out in front. That outside line is a-rolling right now. It's Michael Cozy Jr. leading the bottom side. Coming off turn 4. Brotherton to help. Restart violation for Nick Miller. He changed lines before he got to the start-finish line on the restart. So a bad race for Nick Miller gets even worse.
Here comes Cozy to the lead. Meanwhile, in the back, we are for the first time seeing this middle lane really start to get grouped up here. Tyler Landon, Ryan Naraki, Sean Butler, Wyatt Tinsley, Daniel Falkingham, among some others, are all trying to get this line rolling. And we'll see how it plays out for him. Big wiggle there from Landon and Naraki. And now you're going to see that high lane drop down in front of this middle lane who were surging. That's going to leave Sebastian Marin out to dry. He has help from Jake Poulin, but not much else behind him.
Nick Miller tried to argue his case, and now he will come to pit road to serve the penalty. Now remember, he got in from a provisional. It wasn't on speed. So Nick Miller is pretty much in trouble as far as trying to make it. He's going to need a couple of crowd trouble. Is that Sean to the inside wall? Yes, it is. No, it's Liam Sheen, different blue car, but he saves it. And we keep it pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, and they're still trying to figure out this restart violation. But meanwhile, up at the front, Sebastian Marin with a big move on Matt Spalding right there. Almost got them squirrely, but they keep it together for right now. 8 laps to go here at Talladega. This middle lane, again, for the first time tonight, is just absolutely rolling. They have Sebastian Marin, Matt Spalding, Sean Butler's right here with Wyatt Tinsley. That inside lane, that energy's all now dissipated, but here comes Sebastian Marin, Matt Spalding, and Sean Butler going to leave the 048 machine and go down back to the inside.
Matt Spalding in the 54 to the front. Here comes Butler to the outside. He's got a push from Tinsley. Tinsley goes middle. Here comes Naraki. Gary to the bottom. He hits Spalding. Spalding in the grass. Can he hold on? Yes. Sean Butler, your leader, with 7 to go in Duel 2.
Gonna open the door for a new set of challengers here on the inside line. Wyatt Tinsley's gonna block Liam Brotherton. Matt Spalding, who was just almost in that incident, coming back to help Brotherton out just a little bit. This middle lane's gonna get stacked up. Meanwhile, the top looks like 7 or 8 cars are clear of the middle and inside lane, so they have a little bit of a train going on the outside. But here comes Wyatt Tinsley and Liam Brotherton looking to change that once again on board now with Wyatt Tinsley and the Pioneers machine.
Leading the middle line, he's got Naraki behind him. Coming to 6 laps to go in duel number 2. Sean Butler continues to lead. It's just 2 cars at the very bottom of the racetrack. In Brotherton and in, I think that was Falkingham down there, but how about this? Formula rig for Wyatt Tinsley on a plate track.
That's interesting. If we can get a chance to talk to him about that, we can see some of the insight there. Maybe something about being able to hold a steadier line. I don't know. As I say that, he gets a big bump from Naraki and drops down to the inside lane. And all this jostling and hustling around here on the inside lane is really letting this outside lane command this race right now. It was a bigger breakaway earlier, but it's still about 4 cars, and that is the biggest gap on this outside we've seen so far. Nick Miller on the inside lane.
It's a lap car. He's got to get out of the way. They're 3 wide. They're 4 wide. He's on the apron. He does move, but I'm sure that got the heart rate up of everybody. Sean Butler drops to the bottom with 5 to go. He picks up Tinsley, and they slide back up to the outside.
And it really broke apart that inside lane. Wyatt Tinsley left and went to the outside. Matt Spalding now up in the middle with help from Gary. Liam Brotherton has Robert Dorman, but not much else. And all of a sudden, that bottom lane going all the way back to the back again with 5 laps to go. They do not have time to deal with something like this. They got to get back grouped up and going if they want to have a shot up here. Not only the win, but even the transfer position, which is 16th.
4 laps to go, and it has strung out single file. And right now, the transfer spot belongs to Jonathan Oates. Right behind him is a snarling pack. Garrett Conrath is in there, Liam Brotherton, as well as Jordan Worth, who's at the tail of the pack. They're all hunting down Oates in that 16th position.
Now Oates going to get past Landon, and that's going to open up
for
this
the
transfer
lead
spot.
Wyatt Tinsley doesn't have any help. Marin stays with Butler. Down to 3 to go. Sean will hold on, and Wyatt Tinsley will drift backward.
And now nobody wants to help Tinsley, and all of a sudden he is in trouble. Big stack up with Landon, and that is a huge push. I don't know if I would have hit him that hard. It almost gets him turned sideways, but that shuffles out Liam Brotherton. And across the line, he was 22nd. Now he is even further back, looks like 23rd. And they got to get this sorted out immediately, again, around this transfer spot, because with 3 laps to go, you don't have time to recollect at this point.
Another lap car ahead, just at the bottom of your picture. That is Brandon Cattell. And Cattell will hold the outside line. Butler will slide down the racetrack to the middle. We'll see how they do this at the back of the pack. Where they're 3 wide. Cattell gets put in the wall. Put in the wall by Zach Hudson. But we stay green. 2 to go.
And again, around this transfer spot, it is still just absolute chaos right now. And I believe it's going to be Garrett Conrath. It's Tyler Landon and Jonathan Gope now, side by side. This is just ever changing back here with the 3 wide battle going on.
Down the back stretch. Coming to the white flag. Does that trouble? Oh, no! Tyler Gary into Blake Reynolds. Spalding turned into the wall. The big one in duel 2. More than a half dozen cars littered across the racetrack. And these guys, Caleb, were in the show. Headed to turn number 3, coming to the white flag. Kevin King involved in this. Garrett Conrath. There you see Jake Poole in the 053. And 8 to 10 cars have crashed and may be out of this race, depending on the damage. Remember, no fast repairs.
And even if your required is above, 3 or 4 minutes at this point, not only are you going to go a lap down, you might not even have a chance to get back on track. And you can see it right here. It's Matt Spalding and Tyler Gary are the inside. They're trying to come back up into that middle line, but Jordan Worth just has that run, cannot lift at this point in the race. And ends up with some wadded race cars. Tyler Gary gets turned into Kevin King. Blake Reynolds turns Matt Spalding, and it's just a domino effect from there. And everybody scatters, gets up against the wall, and again, at a track like Talladega, everything that goes up against the wall has to come down at some point, and that collects even more. And again, like you said, with no fast repairs, maybe some damage to fix after this one, there are going to be a lot of guys who were safely in this show. They're going to be on the outside looking in. We'll get another look at it right here.
I count 4 drivers. So right on board with Pooling. And he got through it. Just barely. He slid down the racetrack and pretty much had to stop. His teammate reckoned in front of him. And then Poulin spun it around on the banking trying to get on the gas. I count 4 cars that had meatball flags after that. Spalding, King, Nawrocki, and Reynolds. Out of those 4, on speed, let's see. Reynolds was 9th. So Reynolds, if he can't roll, he'd be in. Barely. Remember, Akabuze missed it, right? I'm not going crazy. Yeah, Akabuze missed it, so he would get in. Reynolds missed it. He would get in. After that, Tyler Gary, remember, he was involved in the crash. He did not have a meatball flag. He was pole. So if Gary misses it, he gets in. And you also have to keep in mind that I believe we're only taking 4 from speed, so that means the 4th one would belong to Joseph Armstrong as of right now. Armstrong missed it from the first one as well. We just got told over the radio from Kevin McAdams that we're only doing 1 green-white checker. We have 3, but that's meant more for the main race. We're only doing 1, so they will not throw a caution for any crashes on the last 2 laps.
And that is, again, referred to as the point of no return here in FTF. So, again, after we take this restart, no cautions, even if there is a wreck where the track may be blocked. Oh, God, oh, no. 500K. Something like that.
Tyler Gehring given an EOL penalty. He is off the pit lane. Blake Reynolds is still there. Nick Miller got back on the lead lap. He is back on pit road. He's got to go if he doesn't want to get lapped. Kevin King is there. Justin Malillo was involved. He is still there. Spalding has gone a lap down. As now have the rest. Blake Reynolds gets going. He will beat the pace car. Kevin King will beat the pace car. Well, hell, they'll all beat the pace car off of pit road. For the most part, the only one that will not, Spalding. He is out. And Spalding qualified 28th overall. He is not going to make the show.
Like we'll be coming to the choose cone this time by. Gonna get a restart here as well, and I don't know. These heats have been fun and different. I feel like at they're traditional Daytona, but here at Atlanta and Talladega as well, it's been a fun ride.
All right. Choosing. Butler to the outside. Cozy to the inside. And remember, point of no return here. No caution. No caution.
Remember something else. Looks like we have a series coming up here on FTF. TFF1.
He showed the graphic?
It.
I wasn't watching. So, very cool.
I could tell. There
yeah,
it is.
That's here next week. Qualifying is Friday, and then the race is Saturday from Michigan. There is no Barr Visual FTF Cup Series next week. We have the week off, so FTF1 takes its place next week. I'll be here at least for the main race, but I will not be here for qualifying. So a different Jake will take my place there with, I think Mendoza. I think he's on both of those broadcasts. I don't know. We'll find out. Nonetheless, Sean Butler, your leader. Cozy is second. The top 16 advance. Right now, if you're in the top 16, all you got to do is stay there. The only thing that changes by where you finish is where you'll be starting on the outside row in the main event. Green flag.
Both of these lines did a good job of making sure that everybody didn't get stacked up there. Really good communication here from Cozy, Falkingham, Butler, and Marin as well. Here comes Jordan Worth looking to make a third line through the middle. He has Wyatt Tinsley behind him. If that 020 machine can get to the back bumper of the 97, doesn't look like he can, and Jordan Worth tries to get back up on the outside lane. Close call there. Jonathan Go's gonna get
into
turned.
Wentz. Oh, and that's going to be big for the transfer, and now Pullen gets turned. Kevin King is in the wall again. Jonathan Oates involved. Half a dozen cars or more are involved. That is right around the transfer spot, and these guys were all in. What are you guys doing? Coming to the white flag. Michael Cozy Jr. leads them around. Falkingham on the back bumper. Then Lannon, Smith, Tinsley, Dorman, Butler, Marin, Worth, and Cortez, your top 10. Here
And
comes
now
Smith.
at the moment, Garrett Conrath is your transfer spot. As you just saw, he's got about a 3-second buffer, so they should be safe. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Cozy and Falkingham glued together. Here comes Aaron Smith with help from Wyatt Tinsley on the outside.
Here comes everybody. Here comes Sean. He goes to the outside 3 wide. Marin goes with him. It's Talladega 2011 all over again. Smith goes up to block Butler. Butler, wham! Move the yellow vision car to P1. And Aaron Smith, who missed Daytona with technical problems, is not going to win it. Sean Butler wins Duel 2. Side drafted him and blows by him at the stripe. Garrett Conrath, as you mentioned, he is the last guy in. How about Nick Miller? He makes it in the show. He finishes 15th. The drivers that are out, Wets, Nick Roten, Malillo, he gets the provisional based off of the sponsor. Oates, Reynolds, King, Pullen, Hudson, Gary, Green, Goke, Cattell, Spalding, Nowrocki. These are guys in the back of the field that already crashed. That's Jordan Worth. I'm sorry, these guys finished the race. It's your race winner, Sean. And we'll see how this plays out as far as qualifying. So Gary did not make it. He is in on speed. Outside of that, Pullen is out. He is in. Akabuze out. He is in. Reynolds is out. He should be in. So by my count, it's Gary, Pullen, Akabuze, Reynolds that are in. Joseph Armstrong and Nate Stewart, who were 10th and 11th in qualifying, did not finish in duel number 1 and are going to be a combined 3 thousandths out of this race. I think, tentatively. I'll wait for Justin's math. But by my count, we were only taking 4 from qualifying. Oh, I forgot owner points. Okay. I was wondering why that math didn't add up. We are taking 8 from owner points. So Kevin King would be in. Goke was out, so he's actually in. So we'll shift this up. So it's Gary, Goke, Pullen, Akabuze, the 4 that get in on speed. Blake Reynolds will get in on points. And the smoke is pouring out of Justin Malillo's ears, so we're going to let him sort that out. We'll step aside. The green flag of the slipstream signs. The track is blocked. Oh, God, no 500K. It's coming your way in just a moment here on FTF.GG. Oh, good Lord. If only the folks watching heard what we just heard. All right. Hi, welcome back. Talladega, 76 laps. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Grid. Let's do it. Parker White's on pole. He won Duel 1. Sean Butler won Stage 2. Darn it! Duel 2. And I took that sticky note off that I
that's
Duel
what
on
did it.
because the duels were done. The inside row set by Duel 1, the outside row set by Duel 2. All the way until you get back to the 32nd position. Then your provisional drivers, 4 of them on speed. Tyler Gary, Jonathan Goke, Jake Pullen, Hamilton Akabuze. Then on owner points, there are 8. Blake Reynolds, Cosmin Yonishu, Logan Helton, Ryan Araki Matthews Wack, Chris Wetz, Kevin King, Dylan Basin. Kevin King, by the way, he ain't here. Logan Helton is starting from the pits. Oh, there's Kevin. He'll also start from the pit. And Jonathan Goke, by the way, he did get a penalty for causing the crash there at the end of Duel 2. And basically, he'll just get an EOL here. But if he causes an incident in this race, he'll be parked.
Yeah, you got to watch out with that negative rec score if you're any one of these guys that's underneath that bubble. You can easily find yourself out for not only the rest of this race, but next week as well. So you got to be just super careful.
Well, and remember that you can only cause 2 incidents per race. So if you cause 2, that second one you're parked no matter what your rec score is. That's the way it is with Goke. There you see the weather. The track temp has come down significantly. It was 10 degrees warmer for the duels, down to 128. But because the air temp is so high, you see at 85, Caleb, the driver's going to be worrying about overheating a little bit more than if the air temp was down in the 60s. They're going to need some air in order to prevent from blowing up. You can get the engines hot, but it's a fine line that you do not want to get over. Parker White and Sean Butler are on the front row. And finally, the slipstream signs, the track is blocked, Ogato 500K is underway. Trouble. Big crash in turn 4. Derek Justice on top of the wall. Daniel Buttafuoco is involved. And the caution flag is out on lap number 1. Buttafuoco destroyed. The front of that car all torn up. Same with Justice. Smoke pouring out the back of car 13. And we don't even complete a lap before the field is flying apart. And with no fast repairs, Caleb, those are guys inside the top 10 in points that are destroyed. Sean Butler in this as well. Here's the replay.
Yeah.
Watch car 31.
Over aggression. You got 76 laps to go, and you can see Daniel Falkingham goes 4 wide, or tries to at least, just doesn't have the real estate, comes up on him a little too quickly, and that's going to end Derek Justice's day, along with a lot of other very good race cars.
Well, and Falkingham, if you see that again, he gets pushed by Cozy into the 031 of Derek Justice. I don't think Cozy could see through Falkingham and knew that Justice dropped down to the bottom of the racetrack and was so far off the pace until at that point He moves out to try and follow Falkingham. He pushes him into the 031, and he gets turned into the outside wall. A hard hit for him, but Afuko with nowhere to go. Sean Butler as well. Falkingham given the cause for the crash. And as far as wreck score is concerned for driver 054, he is fine. He's got a 5. It's a 76-lap race, and we are under the caution on lap 1.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like this whole situation could have been avoided. It's a really unfortunate mix of a bunch of things. You know, obviously Derek Justice there, nothing he can really do because Falkingham and Cozy are coming, 5-6 miles per hour faster through the middle. And again, Falkingham, I think the avoidable part of it for him was going up. Obviously you don't want to hit him that hard, but if you hit him square in the bumper, it's a little better than when he hit him right in that right rear. And again, once you're misaligned like that and coming with a head of steam like they had, it's going to be over from there.
With where Derek Justice was at in points, he was 14th, which would have been good enough for the playoffs. Remember, unfortunately, we can't show points, but because of the drivers that have already gone to victory lane this year, Parker White, Wyatt Tinsley, Dylan Bass, and Malik Ray, they are inside the top 20 in points. They're inside the top 16, actually, so they are good. They're locked in with the win anyway. Now, you got to keep in mind, they got to make the start requirement. Malik Ray has missed 2 races. Missed Bristol Dirt last week. He missed the Rock earlier this year. And Wyatt Tinsley missed last week at Bristol Dirt because he didn't take a provisional, which I think cost him a lot of points because he was flirting with the point lead, but now Parker White has almost a 200-point lead over Brian Mercurio. Looking down through, Michael Guest, he missed Richmond. He is here tonight. He is 20th in points. You got to be in the top 25 for the win to count. And you have to meet the minimum start requirement, which is 20. Michael Guest, as of now, would be locked in, so instead of the top 16 in points, it'd really be the top 15 in points once you factor in that Guest will leapfrog somebody and bump them down the order. Now, Ryan Doucette is the guy in trouble right now. Doucette won the Barr Visual FTF 500 back at Daytona. Since that point, missed the race at Auto Club, 42nd at Vegas, finished 12th at The Rock, he missed Atlanta, 2nd at Texas, 43rd at Richmond. He has been a no-show the last 2 weeks. Missed Bristol Dirt, did not attempt. Missed tonight, did not attempt. As of now, coming into this race, he is 29th in points. So he would not be able to use his win, even if he makes the start requirement. He has to get into that top 25 for that win back at Daytona to count. And he has been racing in the real world. That's why he hasn't been here these last couple of weeks. We'll see maybe if he can turn that around. He's just got to get in that top 25 with the minimum start requirement. But that will come later. We've still got a long way to go in the season. As I mentioned earlier tonight, we are off this week. Rather, we are off next weekend. While the real series is at Talladega, we've got the weekend off. We will be doing FTF1, though, in the meantime. After that, Dover, Kansas, Wilkesboro, and then a week off for the real All-Star race, our All-Star race, which we still haven't figured out where that's going to be, then Gateway, Road America, and Charlotte, Nashville, and then the doubleheader at Chicago gets us to the start of July. Parker White, your race leader, after we made it 7/8 of a lap before we get our first caution. And now, Caleb, we get to try it all again. Derek Justice did park the car. He is done, but Afuko got it back out there. Everybody is still on the lead lap, but we'll see how well that 13 car runs. He had a lot of damage, and that thing was smoking by the time he got it back to pit road.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the damage, not only for Buttafuoco, but everybody else involved in that, kind of implicates their race, because we still have 72 laps to go.
We do.
Buttafuoco says he's killed, so.
Well, and that's why I was surprised that he was back on the racetrack. Nonetheless, it's Parker White, Seth Noel on the front row for the restart, completing lap 4 of 76. Green flag.
Parker White gets a heck of a jump on Malik Ray and Michael Guest, who are lined up behind him. Seth Noel, Brandon Hawk, and Michael Cozy Jr. did a good job not leaving each other's bumpers. Back in the pack, though, Tyler Land and Chris Overland. Overland now going to dip back down to the middle and leave Landon out to dry, excuse me. Meanwhile, back up at the front, right now it's Seth Noel.
Noel out in front, leading the outside line. Hawken behind, Cozy in third, but here comes White on the inside line with help from Malik Ray and Michael Guest. Femi Olot's down there. It's the Coke Series line. I mean, you've got Wyatt down there. Who's that one behind? Is that, oh, it's not Jordan Worth. Oh, it's Robert Dorman. Yeah, okay. So the bottom side is Coke Series with the exception of Dorman. Your front 5 down there. And oh, man, Overland about put Liam Brotherton into the bleachers down in the infield on the front straightaway. He tried to block, and Brotherton swerved to avoid. They're all good, but that got hairy coming down the front straightaway.
I mean, you can see Parker White doing a great job to lead Malik Ray around this place. And we saw in the duels earlier that the outside lane really seemed to be the preferred line where you could just ride up against that wall. But so far, all that momentum seems to be on the bottom side of the racetrack. And sure, that's subject to change. But as of right now, bottom is king.
Down the front straightaway, and you're right, that inside line is the place to be. 3 wide action, Tyler Landon there in the middle. Coastal Carolina colored machine. Him and Hawkins stuck in the sucker hole and are sliding backward as things have calmed down at the front of the pack. For now, here comes Liam Brotherton out of line. He right on board with Chris Overland, third on the outside line.
You could see on that onboard just how timid they have to be on the bumpers in the corners. You know, on these straightaways, you can give a shove and not really give a second thought to it. But in the corners, you have to be so careful, or else you'll end up what we had on lap 1. Good, smart driving right here from Overland.
Just riding around. It's Robert Dorman in front of him on the inside line. Leading the outside line is Wyatt Tinsley. Brotherton trying to revive a middle lane here. Down the back straightaway, but it's a party of 2, just him and Jordan Worth for the time being.
You can see Tinsley right there with Noel on that outside lane. They're trying to get back up to have any sort of momentum, but just seems to be an uphill battle at the moment. Not enough guys that are formed up together in a coherent line to really get that outside lane moving.
And it's still early. You got a long way to go. Remember, the stage end is lap 35, the end of lap 35, and there is no caution at the end of the lap. So we'll keep on racing even after the stage is done. Third line starting to get rolling up there, Caleb.
And
that is Vincent Cortez leading them around up top.
These guys I've really had my eye on. You see Garrett Conrath, Blake Reynolds in that group as well. Now Seth Noel going to ditch. Jordan Worth, and Liam Brotherton all abandon that middle line to get going on the outside lane. And this is more what I was expecting to see. Not so much that it would be a two-horse race on the inside and the middle lane, but that we'd see more what we saw in the duels, and that was the bottom lane and the very outside lane fully dominant.
That's Buttafuoco there on the apron. Still side by side out in front, maybe. Parker White nose is out in front. Noel drops to the bottom, trying to side draft. He's got the help from Jordan Worth. Cortez trying to work that third line up by the outside wall. As things starting to build back up at the front. Here comes Brotherton to the outside. Noel picks up that 107. Wyatt Tinsley joins as well. Now Brotherton back to the bottom, picks up Jordan Worth.
And he made a big move on Seth Noel on the outside lane to get right there. Now he and Jordan Worth will attempt to do... Actually, he's going to dip back out to the outside lane with Seth Noel and get back in front of that one machine. Again, it's this inside and this very outside. Whoa, big move from Chris Overland there to ditch the guys he had on the inside lane and go up with Jordan Worth in that middle line with Posey, McAdams, Tyler Gary are all in that line. And as soon as I say that, Gary looks to be a little back and forth, a little indecision from that 8 machine.
He jumps up to that third line, trying to get that to work. Cortez struggling up there on the outside of the racetrack. Garrett Conrath pushing him, as well as Tyler Gary in the 8. Here comes Liam Brotherton, though, for the lead up the racetrack with Noel picking up Tinsley. Overland with room on the bottom, and here comes Noel, top to bottom. Elevator down and put the one back on top.
All of a sudden, the energy here hasn't switched, but you can see this outside lane is caught up. Just a few laps ago, it felt like it was going to be challenging for them to do so, but here we are on lap 12, and these guys are almost as strong as ever. You see, led by Brotherton, and this car all night has been handling a lot better on that outside lane rather than the inside. If you remember back to the I believe duel number 1 he was in, was just struggling on that inside lane.
Look at this! And you can't see it because we're on board with Wyatt Tinsley, but Chris Overland about put 17 cars in the fence down the front straightaway. With Jordan Worth and everything shuffling around, these guys, it's lap 13 of 76, and they're driving like there's 10 to go.
Yeah, really interesting there that we're seeing these aggressive moves be made. Whoa, big shove from Gary right there. Or to Gary, rather. I thought that was going to get that 8 machine sideways as they go into turn number 3 here. Brotherton still trying to get around, but you see Gary is dealing with the consequences there.
Brotherton up the racetrack, picks up Jordan Worth. Trying to get to the lead. Tinsley to the middle. McAdams follows. Brotherton to the middle, blocks Tinsley. McAdams up to Worth. 3 wide for the lead. Into turn number 1, Worth a little further back. Oh, Brotherton way up the hill.
And that was a daring move from him.
Malik Ray and Michael Guest, they're going to slip back a little bit. They're going to get out of the pack.
Probably not a bad idea. You see now Jordan Worth, Kevin McAdams, they want a piece of this lead. Gary to the back of Liam Brotherton now. Can he provide enough support to this 07 machine? Trying to get back. Now, Jordan Worth, McAdams on the inside. Again, all this energy is transferred to the top where it was the bottom just about 10 laps ago.
Top 3 pulling away, outside line. Alec Kolonik's making his way up through the middle. Into the top 5. Tinsley to the bottom. Brotherton to the bottom. Gary left all alone up top.
And I mean, we looked at that weather just a little bit ago, and I think some of these aggressive moves you're seeing, it may be because the track temp is a little cooler. There might be a little more grip on the racetrack that makes these guys feel comfortable with making big moves like that. Dashing to either the outside or inside lane. You see another one here from Wyatt Tinsley as well. Liam Brotherton's going to try to get...
Wyatt Tinsley about crashed going straight. And now he's going to get split 4 wide for the lead. Now they're going to crash. Parker White gets turned into Kevin. Conrath around. Nick Miller involved. Back in front of the second pack. Most everybody will avoid sliding up and down the racetrack. Parker White, the first car, turns sideways. And the second caution flag of the night comes out in the lead pack. They were 4 wide, yet it wasn't the 4 wide that caused the crash. Watch on the inside line. They're going to check up. It's all because Brotherton gets too far out in front. Worth has to lift. So does Kevin. Conrath hits him hard. Cortez hits him harder. And that spins them all around. It's the bump from Cortez in the 40 that sends Conrath up into Parker White. And then White down the racetrack turns Kevin back up the racetrack. Watch the 40. That red and white car on the bottom. Bam, into the 9. Gets Parker White and it's on. Kevin hard to the outside wall. That might be a concussion right there. Collects another car coming back down the racetrack. Does Kevin, that being Spencer Ray that just clipped him trying to slip on by. And the caution is out for the second time.
Yeah, we had precursors to that wreck all throughout that second run after that restart. Just tons of aggressive driving right now from these guys that want to be up in the lead. And you saw Malik Ray, Michael Guest drop out of that pack. And you see now for good reason. Because they tore some stuff up there.
Only good news. You can pit here. And for sure make it to the end of the stage on fuel. And I think that's what everybody is going to do following the leader down pit road. It's just a racing deal for Josh Mendoza, the race control for the event. And I mean every car is headed to pit lane for service, with the exception of one. Jake Pullen stays out in the 051. Tyler Gary wins the race off pit road, and it looks like fuel only. The call for most everybody. Liam Sheen, the first one off pit road with 4 tires. Liam Brotherton took 4. David L. Brown took 2. Basin on back for the most part took 4. But your top 10 that pitted take fuel only. We got a unique perspective tonight. Since Josh is our race control, we get to see inside the mind a little bit. This is what he sees. I know some of that, of course, comes from Ben Easterday. For those of you that watch him when he admins Moon Car, that's what, that's at least some of the stuff that he uses. So he's got the iRacing live, getting ready for the choose cone. That'll probably be in another lap or two. That's down in the bottom right. You've got there in the bottom left, you have basically everything coming through, whether this guy pitted, incidents, passes, etc. You've got the map with the dots there on the left. You've got live timing right in the middle of your screen. You've got a clock up there. The air temp, laps to go, elapsed time, the safety car sign, the flag sign. It looks like he's working at NASA with all the stuff he's got going on.
Yeah, lots of specialized stuff going on there to make sure that he's being our eye in the sky and able to see all the incidents as they unfold. And here at Talladega, it's probably the best place for him. All these incidents, as we've seen here, 18 laps through, 2 cautions down already. And Jacob, there's been somewhat of a trend here in the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series this year, and we've seen, most of these races kind of follow the same pattern where it was you take the green flag to start the race, you get a quick yellow, and then it's just a green flag run from there, even back to Daytona, and then, with 20 20 or so laps to go, you start to get just a ton of cautions tonight. We're kind of presented with a unique challenge here where we've already had 2 cautions. So, do we get a long green flag run in here, or do we just see cautions breed cautions all night at a track like Talladega where everybody's so aggressive to get up to the front?
We'll have to see, but had this been like every other race, I don't think we would have seen that most recent caution. You're right, where we've had an early caution and then we've gone green for a long time. That has not necessarily been the situation, though, so far here. And we'll see how everything plays out. There you see the choose. Some folks taken way down to the bottom. The important part is don't hit the cone. You hit the cone, you're headed to the back. Half a lap till we get to the green.
And this is interesting. We got, again, Jake Poulin stayed out there. And yeah, while tires may not be a concern, or at least of the concern that they are at some other places, fuel definitely will be. And coming around at complete lap number 19, keep in mind, these were the lengths of the duels that we saw earlier. So everything here for these drivers is uncharted territory in terms of, can you make it? How long can you make it? That sort of thing. Everybody except Poulin, again, came in there, so that 053 will be off cycle for the moment. But we'll see how long he's able to remain up here either way. Pace car pulling down the pit lane.
Well, and he does this in a lot of places where he gets a little off cycle. And we'll see how it helps him out. Set to go. Tyler Gary on the outside, Jake Poulin on the inside. Poulin did not stop. Under the caution. Green flag.
Poulin has a decision here. Does he want to go up and try to block Gary and Cozy? Yes. No. He was thinking about it. Called just a little early there, but he's going to opt to stay with Wyatt Tinsley, and I guess he figured that Gary and Cozy would just be a little too much. And you can see right there that outside lane and this huge surge of momentum that they have. And now it's up to Poulin and Tinsley. And Tinsley's trying to leave Poulin. Poulin has to find a spot in line, and that's probably not a great decision in hindsight for this 053 stayed out. For the track position is that Mercurio on the apron.
And Mercurio dropping way back on that inside line. He wants to get the heck out of town. Malachi Drake does the same as well. You see the 90. Tyler Gary is pulled out of line. Cozy leads. Now here comes Overland to the inside. He wants to lead, and he will.
Chris
and
Overland
now he's got no help.
Yeah, absolutely no help. Oh, and they're wrecking. Looks like they might have got it sorted out there further in the back.
They are not wrecking. Tyler Gary's on the apron.
Go crazy.
Down the back straightaway, side by side. 3 wide. Here comes Malik with Michael Guest. And the dynamic duo back out in front.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just to confirm, I'm not crazy here. It was a stack up with Jordan Worth and Parker White.
Guest. Yikes.
And Parker White just made an absolutely fantastic save in turn 1 last time by, so they did a great job to keep that thing all well and going.
It's Liam Sheen out in front. Not for long. Here comes Basin to the top. It's got Sean Butler to the bottom. Remember, Butler 1, Duel 2. But the Texas winner, Dylan Basin, out in front, inside 15 to go to the end of stage 1.
This outside lane still the place to be, but here come Malik Ray, Michael Guest. They duck out of line onto the inside lane.
Oh, that inside line is stacking up.
And this whole pack as a whole is just getting super tight right now. We saw them earlier all strung out, double file, maybe even single file, but now they are in traditional pack formation, 3 wide throughout this field, and just no room for error at this point. Close call there between Basin and Kolonix.
Goodness.
I guess who's back up at the front? That 053, Jake Poulin. He got cycled out earlier, but this outside lane and their momentum has shuffled this 053 right back into place. And while he may not have the lead that belongs to Dylan Basin, he has a shot at taking it. Basin, big move up to that outside lane, and he's going to lead lap 23 here from Talladega.
Here comes Kolonix up the middle. Holy Gray on the bottom. Making the line work.
And keep in mind here, look at that scoreboard. We have under 10 laps to go until we award some points and close the end of our first stage here. Got 2 in total, so no stage caution or anything, but lap 35 we will award points.
Oh, man, I hear Kevin McAdams saying, this is a mistake, this is a mistake, this is a mistake. And it's because they're at the back of the field. Here they are. They got double file. Spencer Ray peeked out of line, and that was killing them from holding on to the draft. Basin still out in front.
Got some shuffling around to sort out now. Is again, we had everybody super packed up together and following in a little more loose of a formation where they're strung out just a little more. Right now in this bottom lane really has the advantage.
Overland to the front. Basin gets saved. Robert Dorman leading the bottom side.
This bottom side getting stacked up. Oh, and there goes. Is that Jordan?
Oh, there they go.
Dorman.
Parker White around. Mercurio is in it. Dylan Basin sliding back up the racetrack. Logan Helton toward the inside wall. Doesn't look like a lot of damage. And I think it's just mostly spins mid-pack. But Robert Dorman gets hooked coming off turn number 2. And the caution flag is back out at Talladega.
And you'll see it right here, this inside lane that was led by Robert Dorman. And he was clear, but didn't quite account for that momentum that middle lane had. And it's going to turn him up into the outside lane. And Parker White, who had that amazing save in turn number 1, all for naught as he's going to get a piece of this.
And sometimes, even though you're clear, that doesn't mean you should take it. And here you see Tinsley. Basin really had nowhere to go.
No,
given to Dorman.
Yeah, it was absolutely. That's Dorman on Dorman right there. Wyatt Tinsley. At this point, he's driving through the windshield of Dylan Basin. So he just doesn't have enough time to react quick enough to that evasive of a move being made. Or a move initiated, not evasive, rather. Some of these guys in the back, now they had evasive maneuvers trying to get around this incident, but...
Right. Well, we will step aside. We come back. We'll finish up stage number 1. Pit stops for some of the folks at the front, but it's not everybody coming to pit road, or is it? No, it is everybody. I'm a liar. Poulin stayed out, though, again, so it is what it is. We'll recap stops and get the green flag when we come back from Talladega for the Barr Vigil FTF Cup Series. You're watching live on FTF. We're back here from Talladega. Zach Johnson's talking about stuff that NASCAR used, I guess, back in the 1800s or something. At NASCAR Pit Command? Caleb's only a year younger than me, and I have no idea what in the world he's talking about, unfortunately. Race Buddy I've heard of. Race View I've heard of. Pit Command I've got nothing.
Yeah, I've got
talking about something involving Blake McCandless' World 600, which, hey, you can see that right here next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday. Qualifying's Tuesday, the race is Wednesday. I'll be that's over on iRacer. Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't see that here on FTF, but it's over on iRacer, which at this point might as well be FTF.GG 2.5, and be a lot of fun. And I understand that there is an explosive announcement next week that will be during, I think, qualifying and not the race, but something like that. There will be an announcement of some sort that you will not want to miss, and it'll be explosive. I don't want to give it away too much, even though most of you probably already know what it is.
Yeah, just for further elaboration here, I have an article about NASCAR Pit Command that was published in March of 2003. I would have been about 6 or 7 months old at that time. So...
Yeah, let me, Art just linked something. Let me read it here. Nextel's NASCAR Pit Command by Peter Rojas. July 7th, the year of our Lord, 2004 at 9:30 a.m. For all the NASCAR dads in the house, all 2 of you who read us, that is, Nextel just announced a new wireless application called Pit Command that delivers race data and results in real time to cell phones, displaying the information and animated graphic of the track that lets you see a virtual speedometer, odometer, and current standings for your fave driver. Pit Command works on most of Nextel's new color phones and comes standard in their i736 series of NASCAR-themed handsets, as well it should. That's the entire article. Incredible. Green flag. We have 6 to go in stage 1.
And you can see everybody fanning out. Oh, and Nick Miller going to leave Jake Poulin out to dry there. He's going to be on his own in the middle lane. Sebastian Marin going to try to go with him. But that's a losing battle. You see Jake Poulin going to go into that inside lane. It's going to be Sean Butler on the outside. Whoa, and that's going to stack him up.
And there goes Miller. Around to the inside wall. They're wrecking in the back. Logan Helton gets turned. Caution with 6 to go. We'll get a restart before the end of the stage. Nick Miller has had an up and down day, and he winds up into the wall and then coming down the racetrack down in front of Seth Noel. He went up to try and block Sean Butler, and Sean got crossed up on the outside. I'm not sure if he lifted, seeing the 19 come up, and I think Gary just got him around and then bumper grabbed off of him. And then Miller made contact with Butler and spun down the racetrack, and man, he backed into the wall hard. That's going to be another concussion, this time for Miller. Watch again. The 8 pushing the 32 on the outside. Sean lifts, gets squirrely, and then he gets pushed into Miller, and then around he goes.
And again, looking at this is, again, lap 30. We got 46 to go, and I understand we're coming to the end of the stage here, but sometimes you just got to be a little more patient with these moves, or else you're not only going to wad yourself, but all the other guys around you, and that's exactly what happens here. This outside lane just has too much energy in it with Sean Butler and Tyler Gary for you to go up and make a block like that. And not only does it stack them all up, but you've wrecked your own race car now as well. Seth Noel gets part of that. And everybody else does a great job to keep it straight. Tyler Gary does a fantastic save with it. So just really unfortunate that comes to that.
So, third caution, I think. Fourth, something. A number. And we'll get a restart to get us back underway before this stage ends. Yeah.
It'll be interesting here. I mean, I feel like if we've been wrecking these past few times that they come in a 3 to go with points on the line for the top 10, we're gonna get some more of the same. But we'll see here. New faces up front: Seth Knowles, Sean Butler, Kevin King, Chris Overland, Jake Poulin, your top 5, Malik Ray and Michael Guest right outside of it, sitting 6th and 7th. Vincent Cortez, who was involved in one of the earlier wrecks, is in 8th. Femi Olat, 9th. Hamilton Akabuize, he's had a quiet night. Here he is inside of the top 10 with 3, well, it'd be what, 2 laps to go coming to the end of the stage?
When we get the restart, there will be, I think, 2 to go in the stage. That sounds close to right. Well, we'll find out. Unless they shorten the caution or something. So, yeah.
Having fun, Jake?
Yeah. Phillies won by 11 runs today.
I was literally, that next sentence coming out of my mouth was going to be how proud I was that you haven't brought up any other sports today. Literally the next sentence out of my mouth. Yep. Oh, you tripped me all up now. I can't believe it.
Unfortunately, the Lakers won today, but...
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about that. Jaws hurt.
Justin Melillo made tacos tonight, for those of you that care.
Why didn't he put in the food channel?
He did.
Why didn't I look in the food channel?
Unbelievable.
And a little known fact for everybody as well. I was not aware of this, but Chase Elliott apparently made his return to the Cup Series today.
Did he really? Wow, I had no idea. Outside of the billions of dollars that NASCAR spent in advertising this week, I had no idea. I'm impressed they didn't, like, you know,
I wish they
rent a billboard in every city in America to advertise that, oh my God, Chase Elliott's back. Good Lord. All right, so we are in the buffer zone here, and we'll get a restart with 2 to go in the stage. Upcoming on FTF, SimCar is at Long Beach on Thursday. It's at 8:30. FTF 1 is back. Qualifying from Michigan is Friday night at 9. The US 500 is Saturday night at 9. No FTF Cup Series next week. Winsdale goes to Martinsville. Good luck. That's Sunday at 8 o'clock, the 23rd. The 25th and 26th, as I already mentioned, the World 600 from Charlotte in the Gen 4s. The NASCAR Qualifying iRacing Series is Thursday from Dover. Then we're at Pocono for FTF 1. That's Friday, the 28th at 9:30. And then Saturday, the 29th, Dover for the Barr FTF Cup Series. All that more right here on FTF, except for the World 600. That will be on iRacer. Everything else be right here on the FTF machine. Coming to the restart, Seth Knowles, Sean Butler on the front row. Art Reimer, hold on. If you're old enough to have used a flip phone, it's probably your FTF retirement season. My first phone was a flip phone. What does that mean for me? Green flag.
You're out. You're out.
Well, depending on what the future holds, I may only have one more broadcast left for the Cup Series. Restarts under review. Seth Noel out in front. 2 to go in stage 1.
Nolan King, they built up a great line of energy right here on the outside. And this outside lane really has rocketed. The only question is, when do we see people dip down? And of course, it's Malik Ray with Michael Guest. They're going to go to the inside lane. They don't have much help, but they're going to use this surge of momentum that they had to try to get the lead here.
Restart is clear. Last lap in stage number 1. Here at the start-finish line, give it to Noel, just barely. Remember, there is no caution at the end of the stage. We keep racing. Of course, if they crash, that'll be a different story. But by design, there is no caution for the stage end. Down the back straightaway. Malik Ray out in front. Remember, he's already gone to victory lane once. Contact Femi Olot. Can he save it? Yes. Everybody scatters. 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide in the back. Oh my gosh, they kept it straight.
They got to get this sorted out.
At the front, Malik Ray blocking Guest, his teammate. David O'Brown on the bottom with help from Hawken. Cortez is third on the outside line. Michael Guest coming to the start-finish line. 3 wide for second. Malik Ray wins stage 1. Malik Ray gets it done. And for Malik, that is his first stage win of 2023.
That was a great job by him and Guest. No caution here, though, as stated earlier. And now it's David Brown, Brandon Hawken to the point. Michael Cozy Jr. is leading the inside line here, and everybody got super stacked up at the end of that stage, and that's put us in a really interesting position now. David Brown and Brandon Hawken right now have a little bit of a lead, but here comes that middle line of Sebastian Marin with Sean Butler. Can't block that one. And here comes Marin.
Yeah. How about Marin? Oh, man, this is getting tight. A lot up to the wall. Tinsley now leading the bottom as Cozy falls back. And here comes Olet down to the bottom.
All grouped together at the moment. This outside lane is dissipated just a little bit. Here comes Sean Butler. Big block on Femi.
Hey. Sean is driving really, really aggressive. It's been a while since he has raced with us here in FTF. For Sean, he skipped Richmond and Bristol Dirt. After missing the Rock, he has not finished inside the top 20 once this year. Best finish, 22nd at Texas. It has been a rough go for Sean Butler to start 2023. He's trying to get something rolling now, but he just got eaten alive up on the outside of the racetrack. Wyatt Tinsley leads on the bottom down the backstretch.
And again, just little to no room for error when you're this close to each other. And we've seen what happens when somebody does make a mistake. We've had that happen several times here tonight. You just got to drive almost perfect when you're packed in like this. And looking towards the front, Wyatt Tinsley, with the help from Liam Sheen, are out to the front.
How long can he stay there? Sheen out in front. Tinsley to the outside.
Oh, that was close there from Wyatt Tinsley.
Kept it straight. Oh, trouble. There goes Cortez. Back up into traffic. Big crash again, this time in turn 4. Tyler Landon is around. Kevin King. Robert Dorman again. Chris Wetz. Kolonix. Garrett Conrath. It was Vincent Cortez, the first car, sideways. And once again, the caution's back out. This time for a crash in the middle of turn 4. Here's the replay. Oh, just got Kevin King. How about Hawken? Did you see Hawkins save that race car? So he wets up on 2 wheels. Not a lot of damage through all of that. Kevin McAdams has a little bit of front end damage. But it's just a checkup gone wrong. On board with Hawken. Watch him drive out of this one.
Just chaos unfolding behind him, too.
Unbelievable. And you wonder why this guy's racing all over the world? Virtually. But also somehow in the real world? That's why. As Mercurio's given the cause for the caution. And pit stops. Now that we're in stage 2, I don't think you can make it from here to the end. David O'Brown will stay out, as will Poulin. I don't think you can make it from here to the end on fuel, Caleb. I think you're going to have to make one more stop.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 37 laps to go again. Earlier today, our litmus test was only 20 laps. So again, we've seen everybody. You're able to do about somewhere in that 25 to 30 range, and even that, which I think is being a little generous. You're only able to that would put us 6 laps under what you'd need. So.
David L. Brown, your leader. Here at Talladega.
And with 36 laps to go, I mean, kind of like the call to stay out here, honestly.
Yeah, you might as well see what happens. Because, I mean, the
If
way
you go
these
a little
guys
bit,
are racing,
yeah.
you're going to get more cautions. So you might as well, right?
And that's what I mean is the way this race is played out. You know, you get somewhere in between 5 to 10 laps, and then we'll get a wreck. And so if you can stretch this, if you're David L. Brown, and catch a caution, let's say within 7 laps, and at that point you might have a shot to make it to the end and everybody comes down, then you've played this perfectly. But if it comes before that, then it'll backfire on him.
Mercurio wanted to know why that caution was called on him. Kevin King replies, Mercurius. Perfect. So Wyatt Tinsley, currently your leader. A couple of guys coming to pit road to top off, which I think is interesting as far as trying to make it to the end. As we already talked about, I don't think they can make it to the end on fuel by pitting here, but with topping off, you can certainly make it pretty far. And we saw fuel play a factor, Caleb, back in the FTF 500.
And I mean, I think fuel's going to be a big thing all night. Like you said, we saw a plate race with some strategy going on. I think you could see something similar here, depending on how this plays out. Now, if we see what we've been seeing all day, which is just caution after caution after caution after caution after caution, then
After caution.
we won't have that opportunity. But we can only hope, right?
Wow. FTF1's back. I already talked about it like 4 times tonight, but just in case you missed it, FTF1 is back next week, Friday and Saturday. Rather, this week, Friday and Saturday, so it's Sunday. From Michigan, the US 500. Then we go to Pocono, then Phoenix, then Spa. And don't forget the Rectangle 500 is coming back. We're doing it in July. And you'll see it all right here on FTF. Excited for the Rectangle to come back because that was a blast doing that in December. And hopefully that catches on and becomes a regular thing. Wyatt Tinsley's your race leader. 34 laps to go. Green flag.
Wyatt Tinsley's just shot out of a cannon here on this restart. He's going to pull down in front of Michael Cozy Jr. and hope that that 99 machine wants to give him a shove. And it looks like right now Cozy will be okay with that. 34 laps to go, plenty of time. And hopefully we can just get settled in here with a run.
How about Jackson Carr up on the outside of the racetrack? Remember, he spun in the first 5 laps of duel number 1. Because of crashes, he was able to get himself in. Started in 31st. And just like that, he's gone.
And you can see on the bottom score bug there that just plummeted, went from 3rd all the way down to outside the top 10. 14th now for Jackson Carr.
Wyatt Tinsley continues to lead 5 cars single file. As soon as I say that, Jordan Worth peeks to the outside. Will he get any help up there?
Really channeling your Al Michaels today, huh?
What do you mean by that?
Purse and everything you talk about.
Here's the difference. I'm at least glad I'm here. I'm not convinced Al has been over the last while. Some of those Thursday night games.
Yeah, Amazon Prime and mainly Thursday night football games will do that to you.
Here comes Jordan Worth. Never mind. Brotherton left him up there.
Big move.
Oh, here comes Cozy to the outside, 3 wide, and Brotherton tried to go 4 wide down on the bottom.
These runs are just crazy. Oh, and Wyatt Tinsley, a huge block on Michael Cozy Jr. And honestly, this is just super reminiscent of that crazy super speedway package we had with the Generation 6 Cup cars for a while, where you just got huge mega runs. Just all of that everywhere going on right now.
Generation 6. I don't know if I've ever heard somebody call it.
Okay, Gen 6 car of yesterday. I don't know.
Well, Gen 6 makes sense. I don't know if I ever heard somebody call it Generation 6. But nonetheless.
Jacob's going to get locked out of the booth.
Oh, boy. Cozy on the outside line is pulled away. Look what happened here. It's just fizzled out. The energy that we've had in this pack is gone.
And that'll happen when you're all over the racetrack. If you're going from the bottom to the outside all the way back to the inside lane, then it's one way to break energy up. And we see it, mainly with like Indy cars at the Indy 500. Where they'll do that on straightaways. So
you can't say that word.
Oh man. Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Feds are going to be knocking on your door next. Unbelievable.
They're taking me away, head and bag.
Oh. Overland out in front. Oh, Carr down on the bottom. Where did he come from? Wasn't he like 20th? How did he get up here?
They're staying in line and working together, apparently. Right now, this outside lane is really where all the momentum is. I would be surprised if this middle lane didn't hop up there shortly. And there goes Chris Overland. Aaron Smith will probably hop into line anytime now and maybe see some guys on the inside lane as well. Either way, it's Jackson Carr and Wyatt Tinsley coming at 29 laps to go at the Talladega Super Speedway.
How about Jackson Carr? With the help on the inside line from Wyatt Tinsley. We'll see if Tinsley and when Tinsley will move out of line. Oh boy. Chaos, and Cozy had to pull out of line. It's getting too hot.
And you can see Wyatt Tinsley was on that train as well. All the way up to the outside lane for Tinsley and Cozy. Big block. Brotherton's left in the middle. That's Liam Sheen behind him with Chris Overland. But it's Wyatt Tinsley, Michael Cozy Jr. to the point here at Talladega.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Gary and Brotherton. Oh, Brotherton is all over the place.
Now you're saying, oh,
He's doing it
brother
on
for
purpose.
a second.
Well, yes. Oh, Brotherton. Cozy on the outside, Tinsley on the inside. Lap traffic ahead, it's Buttafuoco. He's been good, though, about getting out of the way. And he will. Cozy continues to lead.
Yeah, but Wyatt Tinsley is holding strong here on the inside. Again, still has help from Jackson Carr behind him. This middle lane is trying to get going. They're just a little bit too all over the place. Oh, and Cozy trying to get that side suck from this inside lane, but their momentum's just too much to stop right now. Got to get back in line and try to work back up to him, but it's a 4-car breakaway on the inside. Michael Cozy Jr. thinking about even ditching the middle lane entirely, but he's going to pull back in front of Tyler Gary. And right now, it's Wyatt Tinsley and Jackson Carr. Lead duo here.
Remember, Tinsley now running without a teammate after Derek Justice crashed on the opening lap. 4 wide. Carr in the wall. Parker White. He'll drop back. The only repeat winner so far this season. In the 011 machine, you ride on board with Justin Malillo, who is inside the top 15.
This is really interesting, this breakaway that we've been able to see from this top 4, really. Now, this pack's going to catch up with them at some point, but the fact that they've been able to sustain this for as long as they have, you know, may be a recipe for what we see at the end if somebody can try to replicate that. Either way, though, here comes
Jordan Worth.
Yeah, Jordan Worth. He's got help from Alex Kolonix, Michael Cozy Jr., Chris Overland, Tyler Gary, all in that outside lane, and all of the energy now has flipped on its head.
New leader.
Now, do you think we see somebody dip out of line here? There goes Gary and Brotherton. They are not clear.
Oh, there's contact.
Oh, man.
Cozy's up the track. They're 4 wide. Just for the moment as Overland gets up to help him. And now we got folks pitting. Oh, here we go. Green flag pit stops. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh, Kevin King shoves Liam Sheen there.
And nobody sped.
Now, do you just
Olot, Guest, Ray, Mercurio, Tinsley, Sheen, Kevin King all on the pit lane here. But basically, the Coke Series guys. Guess where the Coke Series is running on Tuesday night?
Not Monza.
That would be here at Talladega.
Okay, well.
Perhaps testing things out. Cozy will pit this time. Brotherton. Oh, Overland gets tagged and he gets into Cozy. Oh, and he puts Tyler Gary in the inside wall. Lost control of the car after he turned across the nose of Michael Cozy Jr. and then got into Tyler Gary. That's 2 current Coke guys and 1 former. Meanwhile, your leader's off turn 2.
I'm wondering if we're going to see any gas and goes from people. You saw Chris Overland there, took 4 tires and fuel and got caught behind just a little bit.
Well, I personally would take 4 here because for some drivers, this may be your only tire change of the day. But not everybody is doing that. Out of the folks here that are pitting, party of 1, Parker White. The only cat coming to pit road. Let's go to a replay here. This is Overland's pit stop. Oh, he gets hit by Kolonix. And that's what tips him down into Cozy and then into Gary. Sean Butler, your race leader, to pit road this time. And here comes just about everybody else. A couple of cars will continue to stay out. Gary, I think okay, a little left side damage, but not the end of the world. Once again, no speeding on pit road. These guys must have practiced green flag pit stops or something. This is uncharacteristic. Alex Kolnick's your leader. Oshalim, Spencer Ray, Jordan Worth. The only 4 that have not come to pit road. Actually, I lie. Wetz, Malachi Drake, Ryan Noraki, and Seth Knoll are a little further back. They also have not come to the pit lane yet.
And right now...
Now, how about this? Sorry, but after getting put into the inside wall. Now, we'll see what that means, but I'm sure it can't be great getting damage on any part of the race car at a place like Talladega where you need the draft. Uh-oh. Oh, am I good?
Yeah. Either way here, this lead pack, with these 8 cars or so in it, and you can see they're split up into even smaller groups here. You got Jordan Worth, and there's about a 4-second drop-off. This is that second pack led by Seth Knoll. Malachi Drake's in here, Ryan Naraki, Chris Wetz. And I think this group, they got to try something at least if they can get a caution or something. But right now, this main pack, led by Femi Olot right now, is gaining big time.
Now, these guys out front still haven't pitted your top 8. But you're seeing now what will eventually be for the lead once your top 8 pit. Cosman and Jackson Carr are pitting. I thought they were crashing. My gosh, that scared me because they had already stopped. That's where I was confused that they were coming back to pit road. And there you see Tyler Gary getting basically lapped. That car way off the pace.
Maybe something to beware if they were struck by the pit road glitch, where you don't get the fuel. Is my first thought, at least.
Maybe. There's a way to turn that off now, I think, so you don't run into that problem. For Jackson Carr, it's a 29-second stop. For Cosman, it's a 2-second stop.
Either way, back up. This will eventually be the lead if these, first 8 cars decide to come in anytime soon. With 18 laps to go, they're not going to be able to make it to the end here. So at some point, those cars will have to pit. It's just a matter of, if we get a caution, when does that hit and how does that affect the cycle?
Exactly what I was going to say. If they wait till a caution comes out, then it won't matter. And that's why we're watching this pack. Got the most amount of cars in it. And stereotypically, this is where the accidents could start.
And again, everybody in this pack has to be so careful, obviously, because, damage is going to affect you. Can go without saying that. But, a caution right now, it would not be beneficial to this group whatsoever. So they got to just be super careful, which they are not being. But they would be shooting themselves in the foot in terms of track position if they were to have an accident or something at this point. So I feel like they need to be a little extra cautious. But with the laps ticking down and this, again, eventually maybe being for the lead, everybody in this group wants to get up to the front.
Wyatt Tinsley out in front. Femi Olot right behind him. Now these guys, as you can see, this is 9th on back on the leaderboard, because your top 8 have yet to make a pit stop. These guys are, trouble! Oh, Michael Guest gets turned around! They saved it! Nick Miller, Kevin King, we're still green. Great job by Race Control to keep us under green. Oh, and Kevin King's right front is broken. Kevin King, a lot of damage for that 88, your reigning series champ. Daniel Falkingham also has a lot of damage. He's on the apron in turn 1.
And again, great job by Race Control there to keep it green. I mean, everybody is still, for the most part, going. Kevin King has damage there. I believe that might be Falkingham with a little bit of damage, but...
What? All right. Thanks, Axe Computer.
Yeah, I thought we were blowing up for a second, but you can see Kevin King there with big damage.
There's some frustration from the drivers over there not being a caution there, but they saved it. And, they kept it rolling, but nonetheless, I think that means we're going to get a replay here when the ticker goes away. I assume. Here with 14 to go. This is your race leader, Colonix, with Ashlem, Ray, Worth, Wetz. Sorry, just those 4. Colonix, Ashlem, Ray, and Worth in this lead pack.
Right now, this main pack still trying to stretch it. Again, if this goes green to the end, they will not be able to make it. And really might be expecting this group to come in anytime in the next 5 to 10 laps. Because they're currently 23 laps into this stint, and from what we've seen tonight, that's not going to be enough.
Right.
Everybody in this pack,
go ahead.
Yeah, started to single file. We saw they were super aggressive in how they were running earlier, but now it looks like they're just trying to tick laps off the board right now. Maybe attempt to catch up a little bit. Obviously, they're not going to make up 22 seconds, but as laps continue to tick down without a caution, you want to put yourself in better position to where, since these guys will pit, you want to be able to try to avoid any trickery they may pull if they come down for gas only or something of that nature.
That's a quote from Matthew Zwack that, unfortunately, I cannot repeat on air. Is this a good one? Never quite heard that one before until tonight.
Big haul on the mail.
Here are your race leaders. Again, this is Kolonix. And those guys in front are folks that have already made their stop. Overland is in that. McAdams, Conrath, Jackson Carr, Jake Poulin, and Jordan Worth is backing off from these guys, so it's now a 3-car pack. I wonder if maybe he's going to come to pit road this time. Or he got too hot and decided to back off there. Speaking of too hot, Zach's CPU. Well, these next gens suck up a lot of stuff. As there you see Lane in pitting with another guy, and yeah, these next gens are a little bit brutal on the old computers.
Say that again. 11 laps to go.
Unless you've got a NASA computer, you're out of luck.
Saw a few guys dip down to the pit lane there.
Yep. Jordan Worth, one of them.
Yeah, we've whittled down from 8 drivers who are staying out to now just the 7 with Jordan Worth on the pit lane. Malachi Drake in 7th position right now is the last guy to have stayed out to this point. 26 laps on this stint.
Ten to go. Coming to 9 to go here. Oshalem says he can go about 5 more laps. That's second place. Meanwhile, Kolonix can only go about 3. Now, keep in mind, because he's leading, that's going to mean that he does not quite have the luxury of the guys behind him. He's burning up more fuel. Now, David L. Brown out there helps a little bit. He's not quite leading the pack, but still.
And everybody else, you know, if you're able to do some fuel-saving trickery, now we're actually probably about 10 laps ago would have been the time to start that, but next best time is right now. You got enough of a gap. I'm looking at guys like Spencer Ray, Oshalem, Chris Wett's back here.
Kevin King has parked the car. He is done for the night after the incident that did not bring out a caution.
Again, Kolonix not going to be able to make it much further. Should be
Maybe
expecting him. Yeah, expecting him to pit either this time or next time by. And I wonder if we see anybody else in this pack follow suit. It won't be this time, so he'll try next time. He has David L. Brown in front of him. And Kolonix, yeah, going to come over the radio and says he is coming into the pit lane. So we'll see how Jonathan Oshalem responds to that. These
are lappers here. This is Guest, who has damage, as well as Frisch. These guys are all off the pace with Tyler Gary. Look at them scatter.
Yeah.
Back here.
Spencer Ray going to come in as well.
So I think all three are going to make the dive right here. There they go.
There they go.
And David L. Brown joins as well. He's a lap down.
So now
and they make it onto pit road without any issues. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris Wett's here. This is now the main group to watch. They're going to stay out on the racetrack, stretching it here to about 29 laps, and Chris Wetz does not have the benefit of a lap car ahead of him. to try to save some fuel off of. Seth Knoll, again, would be one to watch here, but I don't think these guys are going to be able to stretch 6 more laps, especially if we have some sort of late race caution here.
Yeah, I would think if a caution comes out, I think most people would pit anyway just for tires' sake. Or, oh, man, I thought we had people wrecking, but it's just people on pit road that are getting up to speed. Good Lord. Blake Reynolds is leading that second pack. They are 19 seconds behind the race leaders. Here they are coming off turn 2. Chris Wetz is pitting this time by him and Noel. Naraki and Drake stay out for one more.
And again, if Naraki and Drake have been saving while they've been following Noel and Wetz, then they might just have a shot here. Now having 5 extra laps is a different story, but
right,
crazier things have happened. I just think it's going to be a little too much to bear for Naraki and Drake. I think the game plan here for them is to hope with 3 or 2 to go that there's a caution and then they can rejoin back up in everybody's cycle.
Well, bad news for that. Malachi Drake just came over and said he is pitting. So I would imagine that both cars are going to pit here off turn 4. Naraki got to win last year at Daytona to get himself into the playoffs.
No, Naraki's going to stay.
He stays out. That's bold. He's just 16 and a half seconds in front of this second pack, and they almost crashed in turn 4. Big bobble on the inside line with Blake Reynolds, and Cozy shot up the racetrack, having to avoid. You've got about 10 cars in this lead pack that can fight for the win with 4 laps to go. But Ryan Naraki is some 14 and a half seconds ahead. He's going to have to come to pit road, though, before this race is over. I would not think that he can make it the next 3.5 laps without getting caught. At this point, it's a draft issue, not a fuel issue.
Oh, and there's a caution on the racetrack.
Nick Miller has crashed in turn 1. Ryan Naraki has been saved after Jonathan Goke turns Nick Miller on the front straightaway. Goke will be parked, and we're going to overtime at Talladega. Whoa!
And again, that completely changes this race, and the gamble for Ryan Naraki looks like it might pay off here. Right now, Naraki is 33 laps into this stint. Everybody that was in that pack behind him, about 20 laps into it. And again, that is just about the fuel window, so you might want to have some extra fuel in there if we get extra overtime attempts.
We're already going to 1. We have 3. Now watch this. I understand not throwing a caution until here. He gets off the gas, he's rolling, and cars are coming. Especially with somebody down in the apron there. I understand that caution just because he gets off the brake, he starts rolling, and the field's coming at him. That's a safety caution. I can understand that one. I really can. But I could also understand a no call there as well.
Yeah, you got to react to what you're seeing, and if Nick Miller is going to come across the racetrack, you don't want to call a caution too late in that situation and have a bunch of wrecked race cars. What I am perplexed by is that nobody else opted to go with Naraki onto the pit lane, and
so for Naraki, all he loses is track position, but he could get it back.
either way, that completely changes the outlook of this race. Now, Ryan Naraki cycled out. It's going to be Femiola, Wyatt Tinsley, Malik Ray, Sean Butler, Liam Brotherton, Brian Mercurio, Michael Cozy Jr., Aaron Smith, Sebastian Marin, and Brandon Hawken as the top 10. And again, from what we've seen, we saw earlier, Derek Justice went from 10th to 1st on lap 1. So passing will be no issue here. You can even look back, I think, even as far as maybe even 15th or 16th around the Liam Sheen Matthews WAC part of the standings to a potential winner here.
Would like to point out as well that, yeah, Josh Mendoza is the race admin for tonight. However, he did not admin that first duel that we had. First duel, I believe, was Poland, I think, because he wasn't on the racetrack, and then Josh took over the rest of the way. So, just want to throw it out there that hasn't necessarily been the same guy making the same calls all night long. And in Josh's defense, I have not race admined. However, it's not an easy job. By any stretch, it is not an easy job. And, as much as we complain about NASCAR for bad calls, it's not an easy job.
Should be getting to choose one to go and hits. Do you think we're going to be digging into the barrel here for overtime attempts?
Well, we only get 3. So we won't be here too late, which is nice. We won't be here until tomorrow morning. But I have a feeling that we could see at least 2. I have a feeling we're going to see at least one more yellow.
Interesting choose here. So again, Femi...
I was on replay, so I kind of missed it there. That's my bad. But,
yeah.
I'm like, wait, they are choosing.
Yeah, Femi and Hensley are going to be on the outside here. Sean and Cozy on the inside. Yeah, hopefully, again, we won't have to dig into the barrels for the overtime attempts. But we will see. Hitch, just give me a prediction. Doesn't have to be anything too deep. Winner.
Doesn't have to be anything too deep. Who wins?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, don't give me reason or anything. Just go with your gut right now. Taking too long.
Sebastian Marin. There you go.
All right, give me 5th place. Malik Ray. Let's see.
Well, he'd be 6th. Marin is 5th there.
All right.
Nonetheless, here we go. Femi Olacho leader. Sean Butler is 2nd. Green flag. 2 laps to settle it. Here in the slipstream signs, the trek is blocked. Ogata no 500K. It's all come down to this in overtime. Side by side. 2 rows deep to turn 2.
Watch out for this pack. If they can get some momentum surging off of turn number 2 down the Alabama Gang super stretch for the penultimate time. Femi Olat with Wyatt Tinsley's help. Sebastian Marin in line. Sean Butler, Cozy, Kolonix all on the inside line now. Oh, and here comes Marin and Hawken.
Hawken 4 wide for the lead. That won't work. Crash. Robert Doran in the wall.
Him.
Caution's out. We're doing it again. Marin and Goke. Now, I didn't catch this. So the caution was safety, not for Goke, so Goke didn't get parked. Got it. Because I was thinking that he would have, and this one, he drives it into the wall in turn number 3 and comes down and hooks Dorman. So now I think he's out. I think. We'll see. But there you see Goke in the wall. He may have gotten pushed up there by Dorman, but he comes down the racetrack and hooks Dorman into the outside wall. All right, that one's given to Goke. Now he's parked.
And you can see it's because of that. The initial contact there kind of led by Dorman, but Goke comes back down, and now he will be parked. You can see Dorman has some considerable damage right there. A lot of these boys would really be wishing for a faster pair right about now, but not gonna happen.
Trying to do a little bit of research here onto this caution, see if I can find anything about safety cautions, anything like that, if there is a blame given. I ain't seeing anything, at least here. Executive decision from Jake Poulin, by the way. Zach, show his save. I didn't catch it, but clearly he did. Show it. Coward.
Comes the boss.
Here it is. Right on board with the 053.
We get a half a lap of build-up to this, but you see...
That's all right.
Yeah, going out of turn 2 here onto the backstretch.
Let's enjoy the ride, shall
Okay.
we? At 190 mile an hour. That's Dorman right in front of him.
Oh, man.
Oh, turn right to go left.
It's a little bit of contact from Goke, and Poulin does a fantastic job of keeping that thing straight, but it didn't even scrub off that much speed from that either, so... Enjoy that camera time.
Would like to point out, by the way, I looked through the rec score channel in the Discord, and there is no mention about safety cautions and whether or not there should be a cause given for it being a safety caution. My only guess is that that could be called on the car that spun, which would have been Nick Miller, but that's like his 18th wreck of the night, and I don't know if he would have been parked for that. Just because I've lost count at this point, because I don't know what he's caused, what he hasn't caused, but obviously he's still out on the racetrack, so he's good. There was no cause given. It was just safety yellow, which I think, and I'll double check through some of the past penalties, but I think if it's a safety yellow, that's that. know if I'm so sure about that. I'll be honest. I think even if there's a safety caution that
Get him hits.
that there is a cause given, but I'm trying to figure out for sure.
We'll let you figure that out real fast.
I think there is, considering that was a safety and then racing deal at the same time. So, nonetheless, not to dwell on that too much. So the field is doubled up and ready to go for the restart. Femi Olat's on the outside. Wyatt Tinsley's on the inside. And I did say we were at least going 2 overtimes, if not a third. We only really get one more caution here to burn through the rest of the way. So if they're going to wreck and you want another restart, better do it before they get back to the line. Pace car heads to the safety of pit lane. Wise decision, I think. Barney's got the green flag in hand. Femi Olat, Wyatt Tinsley on the front row. Tinsley looking for his second win this season. The rest behind him outside of Malik Ray looking for their first on the season. Green flag, 2 to go.
Olat, big jump out in front of Sean Butler, Wyatt Tinsley,
Crash,
Michael Cozy
Conrath
Jr.
around into the 40 of Vincent Cortez. Blake Reynolds is around. And we'll do it again. We made it. 500 feet. The inside line checked up. Conrath came up the racetrack and got turned by Seth Knoll. He was trying to get around. Jake Poulin, as the inside line, stacked it on up. Here's the replay. Watch, the bottom side checks up. Conrath moves to the right. Bam, hit by the 1, into the 40, and it's on. And down into Reynolds there.
And we'll officially be in the point of no return after a great restart there. And
Yippee.
again, no more cautions now. Take this restart, and that'll be the end of it.
And they will race it all the way back around. So don't wreck big. Plain and simple. Ooh, people are worried about fuel.
And yeah, that's again what we were worried about earlier. If you're
Olat and well, the whole field pretty much. Colonix and Ray pitted 12 laps ago. That's it.
And again, that's what we were mentioning when we had that caution where Naraki stayed out, or where Naraki came in and everybody else stayed out. Excuse me. Was that if we were to use multiple overtimes, that fuel might be a factor for him. And again, Femi, Wyatt Tinsley, Sean Butler, Michael Cozy Jr., Malik Ray, all about 30 laps into the stint. We've seen tonight that 30 laps is the buffer, your pit window. So you see Colonix is coming down. Spencer Ray is coming down. All of these guys.
Those guys stopped already, though. What are they doing? Why are they coming back? They already stopped. They stopped 12 laps ago. Unless they didn't put enough fuel in it then.
I think that might be the caveat there, is that they didn't have enough fuel. They might have just been expecting this to go to the scheduled distance and wanted to save time on pit road.
All right, well, somebody's got to win this race. Might be the pace car, but... All right. Yeah, Spencer Ray didn't have enough fuel. Thought they were going to go green to the end. Oops. There's trouble in Caleb Hoffman land. His screens have gone bye-bye. So we may be flying solo for this restart. Hopefully he gets everything sorted out and it's not the graphics card that decided to dip on out. Caleb Hoffman, connection dropped due to upload packet loss. Trouble. And he's gone from the distance. All right. Well, we are choosing this time. It's turned into a solo broadcast. And hopefully they can make it green to the end, but I'm not going to necessarily hold my breath. All righty. They'll choose here coming off turn number 2. Alrighty. We are choosing this time. Femiolat to the outside. Tinsley chooses the bottom. And it doesn't look like anybody has hit the cone up to this point. Dylan Basin just blinked out. Oh, no! Basin blinked out. He was running 7th. Oh, and his quality is dropping down into the 30s. He's done. Heartbreak for Dylan Basin, who won back at Texas. He will not finish this race today. Here we go, folks. Femiola, Michael Cozy Jr. on the front row for the restart. This is the last restart of the race. Olat looking for his first win and his first start of the season. Cozy has had a rough start to the year, looking for his first win of the season and hopefully get him into a playoff picture. Green flag, Olat gone to turn 1. Tinsley pushing him into second. Olat drops to the inside. That's going to give the 20 a wide open look up top. Sean Butler shuffles him out of the way, but nobody's with him. Sean abandoned 3 wide in the middle. He's got help from Liam Sheen way back in the pack. Femiolat, your leader, the outside line struggling down the back straightaway. 5, 6, 7 car breakaway at the front on the inside. Femiolat out in front. Cozy is second. Hawken third. Sebastian Marin is fourth. Sideways, they're 5 wide. Parker White holds on. 3 wide for the lead. White flag. Brandon Hawken leads at the line. 1 more lap to go. Hawken leading the outside. Cozy drops down to the bottom. Will Marin make the move? He's in second. Matthews Wack is third. Down the back stretch for the final time at Talladega. Brandon Hawken leading him around. 1 car spins. It's Liam Sheen off Femi Olot's bumper. Femi has lost the draft. Marin is pushing Hawken into turn number 3. When could Marin make the move? We saw this back at Daytona where Austin Farr was leading. Coming to the checkered flag. They crashed behind. Never mind. Here comes Hawken. Marin all over the back bumper. Wyatt Tinsley with help from Malik Ray. Will they make the move to the outside? Hawken blocks. He's in the wall. Sebastian Marin wins. Sebastian Marin picks up his first career Barr Visual FTF Cup Series victory at Talladega. Unbelievable. The 48 is headed back to victory lane. The Nexus teammates laid it all out on the line. And Hawken pretty much threw his body on a live grenade in front of Wyatt Tinsley and Malik Ray to prevent them from getting by. And it's Hawken's teammate, the rookie, that is going to victory lane at Talladega. And oh, by the way, I picked him to win. Results are unofficial. Here is the replay coming to the line. They made the move to the outside. Hawken blocks him. Malik Ray spins. And Marin cuts to the inside and gets it done. Great work from Malik and Tinsley. You see them crashing in the back right off turn 4. That took out a good chunk of cars. And look at this. The margin at the line. Right there. Some 76 thousandths. Not a lot, but it's enough. And Sebastian Marin is drifting down the front straightaway and burning it down. For the first time in his career, he has won in the Barr Visual FTF Cup Series. What a finish. Talked about how he had impressed a lot of folks back at Daytona in qualifying. Not somebody that a lot of people knew about. And he came in and surprised a lot of folks when he qualified inside the top 5. Didn't make it through the duels. Had to go through the soup. And he could not get it done. Race Control confirms Sebastian Marin is your winner at Talladega. And we will try to get a word with him in just a moment. Brandon Hawken does finish second. Wyatt Tinsley finishes third. All results unofficial. Malik Ray 4th. Brian Mercurio 5th. Matthew Zwack is 6th. Nick Miller, man, he has had a crazy day. He finishes 7th. Cozy 8th. Ryan Naraki started 45th. He finishes 9th. And Michael Guest picks up another top 10 on this season. Looking down through the rest of the order, you see Parker White. He finishes 11th. Justin Malillo picks up a top 15 in the Dalen Barr 91. Chris Wett's there in 17th. Malachi Drake coming home with the top 20. Michael P. Frisch. Femi Olot, remember, he was your leader at the restart. He finishes unofficially 23rd. A lot of folks back here. Jake Poulin, who was up toward the front. And some of these guys back outside the top 25 crashed on the last lap in turn 3. That's what got Jordan Worth. Blake Reynolds was involved in a couple of accidents. Overland, all the way down through Jackson Carr. We saw him at the front at some points. He finishes 37th. And everybody from 45th on back did not start because they were out in the duels. So Justice, the last car that made the start, and he only made it a lap. Sebastian Marin is deafened in the Discord, so we'll talk with him in a little. So we'll talk with third place first, Wyatt Tinsley, because right now is the only cat in town. Wyatt, holy cow. Yeah, once again, you and Malik Ray teamed up, charged your way to the front. Is there any way that you could have gotten by the Nexus wall that was in front of you there with Hawken and with Marin?
I don't know. I feel like me and Malik backed up a run. By the way, Brandon Hawken got DQ'd, so we got second place.
Whoa! Say what?
Yep, he got EOL'd for some reason, but I don't know if like Seabass went down to the apron right before the line. So I don't know if
Why have I not seen anything?
It's in the Discord.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I don't like he obviously blocked, but I don't know why he got DQ'd rather than I don't like what he did. In my opinion, was just racing. I mean, obviously he threw like a big block, but like Seabass went below the yellow line. But overall, I mean, great run for Seabass. I'll take the second place after missing the field last week. But overall, we played the strategy card good. Me, Kevin, Nick Miller, Malik. I believe Guess was with us. So like all that shenanigans of Brian Mercurio, Timmy. We all played a really good strategy there at the end, and everyone able to have track position. I love how you put finish second question mark.
Well, we're trying to get confirmation as well from Race Control as to officially
the Discord.
Why Hawken. Yeah, I do see that they sent him back, but trying to figure out why he got that, because I don't think he caused a crash before that, unless it's just because, I see, he ran out of gas and he came up and blocked.
Interesting. So, overall, great race. Glad to collect points and play up points and move on with the clean car. I wouldn't say much of a clean car, but as we go forward, on to next race. I believe next race we do have a bit of a break. I do believe, right? We're not racing next weekend.
Just 1 week. Yep.
And then we'll back to Dover. Where? I think, right? To Dover?
We are at Dover in 2 weeks, yes.
Oh yeah, Dover should we've had ups and downs at Dover. Well well hopefully a good win to Seabass. Definitely one to come in. He's been really good everywhere and definitely well deserved. Yeah, it's late, gonna get to go to bed. But appreciate y'all commentating, everyone. Coke on Tuesday. Make sure you watch YouTube/iRacing, Twitch/iRacing. Root for our pioneers. Toyota should be good. I'd like to thank everyone at North Force for the continuous hard work into Coke and everything like that. And everyone, Kansas City Pioneers, definitely are great backing and happy to be here. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Wyatt, congratulations on the second place. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Wyatt Tinsley. His teammate, unfortunately, finished dead last. But Tinsley finishes second. Now let's talk with our race winner, Sebastian Marin, because, boy, did you have a last lap there. I assume it was in the back of your mind, at least, to try and make the move there on your teammate coming to the checkered flag, but obviously we found out that he ran out of gas coming to the line, so you had to make the move either way.
Yeah, he sure did. I completely forgot about that fact, to be honest. I kind of got some of the voices of my teammates mixed up, and I thought it was somebody else behind me. And I'm like, man, why are they getting such a big run on us? Like going through the travel, we were like a second ahead at some point. And then I realized he was running out of fuel, so I started to poke out. And I think he went up really to block, but he was out of fuel, so it was a no-brainer that he got penalized for it. But it ended up, getting those Malik and Wyatt into each other and gave me the win. So heck of a way to win. It's a shame that we couldn't get a 1-2, but still a wonderful day for our team.
Now, obviously this season, your first career win here in FTF. You're the first rookie to win this season, and I mean, when you came into Daytona, not everybody knew much about you. When you qualified into the top 5 at Daytona, you got the attention of a lot of folks. Yeah, maybe didn't make it through the duels, but You've been on a lot of folks' radars since that opening week. What does it mean now to get that win off your back? You can focus on the rest of the year, and heck, I mean, as long as you show up, you're in the postseason.
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, came in. I've kind of grown up, racing super speedways, so I feel really comfortable racing around here in qualifying, especially. So hopefully, my name's a little bit out there. Still need to work a little bit on my racecraft on some other tracks, but I know the pace is there. And really looking forward now to focus at the end of the season with this win. So we'll see. It's still a long ways to go. A lot of things could happen. Hopefully, we can continue the momentum going and keep a lot of solid runs going. But man, I'm just so excited to just get this win off my chest. Just really happy with the outcome, and I can't wait.
All right, Sebastian. Well, congratulations on the race win, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from Dover.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, guys.
The Nexus Esport driver goes to victory lane for the first time this season. And the rookie captures the flag first at Talladega. Man, oh man, what a finish from Talladega. Well, that's a race. And that's a wrap on our coverage here from Talladega. We are back on Thursday with SimCar from Long Beach at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. FTF1 returns next weekend, Friday and Saturday, the 21st and 22nd, both days at 9 o'clock. No Barr Visual FTF Cup Series next week. We're off. Winsdale is back next Sunday, a week from tonight, from Martinsville. Good luck. And then the Blake Mechanics' World 600 from Charlotte. That is Tuesday, April 25th, and Wednesday, April 26th, 7 and 8 o'clock. Both of those over on iRacer. For Caleb Hoffman, who hope his computer's okay, and for Zach Johnson alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Man, oh man, what a race. Sebastian Marin, your winner at Talladega. We'll see you in 2 weeks from Dover.